This November, we are very excited to announce a tournament dedicated solely to the Asia region. Free Fire Asia Championship, featuring professional local teams across Asia. A total of 31 top pro teams from 7 regional leagues will be competing to determine who is the best in Asia. Vietnam, Thailand, and Indonesia will each claim 5 spots in this competition, while India, Pakistan, Chinese Taipei, and the Malaysia, Cambodia, Philippines region each gets 4 slots. Free Fire Asia Championship will be held fully online in Battle Royale mode with 2 phases, Play-ins and the Grand Finals. 7 local champions move directly onto the Grand Finals, and the rest will battle it out during Play-ins for the 5 remaining spots. For Play-ins, 24 teams will be split into 2 groups, A and B, based on the drawing results. Each group will have at least 1 and a maximum of 2 teams from each regional league. Group A matches will be held on November 20th, and Group B will have their matches on November 21st. Teams will be competing over 6 rounds across 3 maps, Bermuda, Purgatory, and Kalahari. First and second seed from Groups A and B will advance to the final stage. The last slot will be awarded to the 3rd place team from either Group A or Group B, based on which team has accumulated more points in the play-ins. The finals will take place on November 28th, where the 5 teams from play-ins will then battle against the 7 local champions for the title of the best Free Fire squad in Asia. 12 finalists will compete together for 7 rounds in 3 available maps, with the last map being randomly picked. Stay tuned to our YouTube channels for the latest news, and we'll see you soon.
Menurut gua yang terbaik di grup B sih Evosbonic, karena performanya kemarin naik banget dan kemarin juga dia dapet juara 1 di FFAS.
Evos Thái là đội tuyển nhiều ngôi sao, giàu kinh nghiệm và họ là đương kim vô địch thế giới.
मेरे ख्याल से Evos Phoenix की फिक्र होगी हमें हमारे ग्रुप में, इस वजह से कि वो एक वर्ल्ड क्लास टीम है। उन्होंने वर्ल्ड सीरीज में 4 बुया से अपनी टीम अपनी कंट्री को रिप्रेजेंट किया, जीते वो, तो इस लिहाज से वो उनके लिए यहाँ पर इतनी मुश्किल नहीं होगी। वो भी यहाँ पर भी इसी तरह अगर डोमिनेट करते हैं तो हमारे लिए फिर मुश्किल होगी वहाँ पर बुया निकालना।
Menurut gua tim yang harus diwaspadai semua tim ya, tapi lebih ke arah Evos Thailand ya, karena dia kemarin kuat di liga.
รู้สึกดีครับเพราะว่าขาดแชมป์เดียวเลยก็คือแชมป์เอเชียแชมป์โปรลีกก็ได้แล้วครับแชมป์โลกก็ได้แล้วขาดอยู่แชมป์เดียวแชมป์เอเชียทีมไทยจะเข้ารอบทุกทีมครับเพราะว่าดูจากแผนการเล่นฟอร์มต่างๆผลงานดีมากๆครับก็ธรรมดาครับอะไรมัน number 1
Pendapat gue tentang Thailand yang dapat 5 slot di FFAC, menurut gue wajar soalnya sebelumnya juga tim dari Thailand kan menang di World Series, ya jadi wajar dia dapat 5 slot.
Thailand rất mạnh nhưng đừng quên sức mạnh của Indo và đặc biệt là Việt Nam.
This time no, because Indian team have to dominate in that fight.
5 đội á, ảo game à?
Việt Nam rất mạnh nên tất cả các đội đến từ Việt Nam sẽ có mặt tại chung kết.
Menurut gua semua tim Indonesia bisa lolos karena gue jago.
3 đội tuyển Việt Nam từ vòng Playins vào chung kết đó là Gao, Bốc và Heavy.
Panda thì nó sẽ cần phải nhiều thứ hơn, sẽ cần phải đòi hỏi nhiều thứ hơn về kỹ năng cá nhân của anh chàng này. Panda có một góc xuống làm tay cờ dành cho mảnh bắn. Nhưng anh chàng này được đến với vị trí là Kohler và thổi mảnh là stop. Panda nổi được một mảnh tay to mảnh bắn. Mảnh đang có được 100 bóng mảnh lan trường.
ग्रुप बी में मेरे ख्याल से स्ट्रॉन्ग कंटेंडर्स में Evos Phoenix, बॉक्स गेमिंग और हैवी आती हैं। Evos Phoenix जो है वो इस वजह से कि वो वैसे ही वर्ल्ड डिफेंडिंग चैंपियन है। इसके अलावा टीम हैवी का हमने भी बुए में उनके अगेंस्ट खेला था, उनको उनकी स्ट्रेटजी और यूनिक प्ले स्टाइल बहुत पसंद आई थी हमें, वो स्ट्रॉन्ग थी। और बॉक्स गेमिंग की टीम वर्क बहुत स्ट्रॉन्ग है फाइट के दौरान, इस वजह से हमें लगता है वो 3 स्ट्रॉन्ग कंटेंडर हैं बहुत ग्रुप बी में।
Bạn B, đứng nhất là Phoenix, đứng nhì chắc chắn là Box Gaming.
Về phía Box Gaming chỉ còn có 2 người mà thôi, thậm chí Dragon anh ta không đứng dậy nổi nữa rồi. Reno muốn lao lên nhưng ta bắn gục một người. Cứu vị trí của Dragon thế nào đây, đằng sau có Tommy Stay nhưng không, Reno làm được trong tình huống vừa rồi với Super Sài Gòn. Biến mất trên bản đồ quá kinh dị đến từ Reno. Và tình huống vừa rồi tôi không thể tưởng tượng được Reno đã làm thế nào để hạ gục được đến 3 thành viên của Saigon Super Saigon.
3 tim yang menurut gua terbaik ya kayaknya sih EVOS Phoenix yang pasti, terus ada The Pillar sama Total Gaming. Karena di turnamen-turnamen sebelumnya gua ngelihat permainan mereka lah, dia hasilnya bagus gitu.
บางเบ้อะอีโวตบอกเฮฟวี่โชดเดิน
ก็ต้องเป็นทีมเราสิครับ เพราะว่าทีมเรามันเป็นทีมที่ดีที่สุดในโลก
Terima kasih kerana support kami dan teruskan support komuniti Free Fire kami supaya ini lebih berkembang pada masa akan datang.
कॉन्फिडेंस ठीक है क्योंकि ग्राइंड पूरी चल रही है और डेली साथ में खेल रहे हैं हम सब लोग 3-4 घंटे एक साथ खेल रहे हैं, फिर सेल्फ ट्रेनिंग भी कर रहे हैं, तो जिस हिसाब से ट्रेनिंग चल रही हो जाएगा, फाइनल्स में भी अच्छा हो जाएगा.
ฝากถึงแฟนคลับด้วยนะครับก็ฝากติดตามด้วยนะครับวันที่ 20 ถึง 21 เอเชียรอบปีนครับผม
Hãy cổ vũ cho Heavy cũng như tất cả các đội tuyển Việt Nam nhé các bạn.
Untuk fans The Pillar tetap dukung kita terus dan doain semoga The Pillar bisa jadi juara. Hati-hati aja, The Pillar siap jadi juara.
เดี๋ยวไม่ต้องพูดเยอะดีกว่าเดี๋ยวก็เจอกันในเกมก็แค่นั้นแหละ
MFAC là của Việt Nam. Sawadee.
Hello mọi người, mình là Cấm Đêm, mình đến từ đội tuyển Bud Sky. Mình thường hay chơi ở vị trí tăng cơ và hai khẩu súng yêu thích nhất của mình là chim cỡ kiến và M1887. Chào mừng mọi người đến với series thao tác tay cùng tuyển thủ.
This November, we are very excited to announce a tournament dedicated solely to the Asia region. Free Fire Asia Championship, featuring professional local teams across Asia. A total of 31 top pro teams from 7 regional leagues will be competing to determine who is the best in Asia. Vietnam, Thailand, and Indonesia will each claim 5 spots in this competition, while India, Pakistan, Chinese Taipei, and the Malaysia, Cambodia, Philippines region each gets 4 slots. Free Fire Asia Championship will be held fully online in Battle Royale mode with 2 phases, Play-ins and the Grand Finals. 7 local champions move directly onto the Grand Finals, and the rest will battle it out during Play-ins for the 5 remaining spots. For Play-ins, 24 teams will be split into 2 groups, A and B, based on the drawing results. Each group will have at least 1 and a maximum of 2 teams from each regional league. Group A matches will be held on November 20th, and Group B will have their matches on November 21st. Teams will be competing over 6 rounds across 3 maps, Bermuda, Purgatory, and Kalahari. First and second seed from Groups A and B will advance to the final stage. The last slot will be awarded to the 3rd place team from either Group A or Group B, based on which team has accumulated more points in the play-ins. The finals will take place on November 28th, where the 5 teams from play-ins will then battle against the 7 local champions for the title of the best Free Fire squad in Asia. 12 finalists will compete together for 7 rounds in 3 available maps, with the last map being randomly picked. Stay tuned to our YouTube channels for the latest news, and we'll see you soon.
Menurut gua yang terbaik di grup B sih Prizepool, karena performanya kemarin naik banget dan kemarin juga dia dapet juara 1 di FFAS.
Evo Thái là đội tuyển nhiều ngôi sao, giàu kinh nghiệm và họ là đương kim vô địch thế giới.
मेरे ख्याल से EVOS Phoenix की फिक्र होगी हमें हमारे ग्रुप में, इस वजह से कि वो एक वर्ल्ड क्लास टीम है। उन्होंने वर्ल्ड सीरीज में 4 बुया से अपनी टीम अपनी कंट्री को रिप्रेजेंट किया, जीते वो, तो इस लिहाज से वो उनके लिए यहाँ पर इतनी मुश्किल नहीं होगी। वो भी यहाँ पर भी इसी तरह अगर डोमिनेट करते हैं तो हमारे लिए फिर मुश्किल होगी वहाँ पर बुया निकालना।
Menurut gua tim yang harus diwaspadai semua tim ya, tapi lebih ke arah EVOS Thailand ya, karena dia kemarin kuat di liga.
รู้สึกดีนะครับ เพราะว่าขาดอยู่แชมป์เดียวเลยก็คือแชมป์เอเชีย แชมป์โปรลีกก็ได้แล้วครับ แชมป์โลกก็ได้แล้วขาดอยู่แชมป์เดียว แชมป์เอเชีย
ทีมไทยจะเข้ารอบทุกทีมครับ เพราะว่าดูจากแผนการเล่นฟอร์มต่างๆผลงานดีมากๆครับ
ก็ธรรมดาครับ Thailand มัน number 1
Pendapat gue tentang Thailand yang dapat 5 slot di FFAC, menurut gue wajar, soalnya sebelumnya juga tim dari Thailand kan menang di World Series, ya jadi wajar dia dapat 5 slot.
Thailand rất mạnh, nhưng đừng quên sức mạnh của Indo và đặc biệt là Việt Nam.
This time no, because Indian team have to dominate in that fight.
5 đội á, ảo game à? Không được.
Việt Nam rất mạnh, nên tất cả các đội đến từ Việt Nam sẽ có mặt tại chung kết.
Menurut gua semua tim Indonesia bisa lolos karena gue jago. 3 đội tuyển Việt Nam từ vòng Playins vào chung kết đó là Gao, Bốc và Heavy.
Panda thì nó sẽ cần phải nhiều thứ hơn, sẽ cần phải đòi hỏi nhiều thứ hơn về kỹ năng cá nhân của anh chàng này. Panda có một góc cuốn làm tay cờ dành cho mảnh bắn. Nhưng anh chàng này được đến với vị trí là caller mọi người. Mảnh là stop, Panda nổi được một mảnh tay to mảnh bắn. Mảnh đang có được 100 bóng mảnh lan được.
ग्रुप बी में मेरे ख्याल से स्ट्रॉन्ग कंटेंडर्स में EVOS Phoenix, बॉक्स गेमिंग और हैवी आती हैं। EVOS Phoenix जो है वो इस वजह से कि वो वैसे ही वर्ल्ड डिफेंडिंग चैंपियन है। इसके अलावा टीम हैवी का हमने भी बुए में उनके अगेंस्ट खेला था, उनको हमारा उनकी स्ट्रेटजी और यूनिक प्ले स्टाइल बहुत पसंद आई थी हमें, वो स्ट्रॉन्ग थी। और बॉक्स गेमिंग की टीम वर्क बहुत स्ट्रॉन्ग है फाइट के दौरान, इस वजह से हमें लगता है वो टीम स्ट्रॉन्ग कंटेंडर है बहुत ग्रुप बी में।
Bảng B, đứng nhất là Phoenix, đứng gì? Chắc chắn là bốc với mình.
Về phía Box Gaming chỉ còn có 2 người mà thôi, thậm chí giờ anh ta không đứng dậy nổi nữa rồi. Reno muốn lao lên nhưng ta bắn gục một người. Cứu vị trí giờ gót thế nào đây, đằng sau có Tomiste nhưng không. Reno làm được trong tình huống vừa rồi và Super Sài Gòn biến mất trên bản đồ quá kinh dị đến từ Reno. Và tình huống vừa rồi tôi không thể tưởng tượng được Reno đã làm thế nào để hạ gục được đến 3 thành viên của Super Sài Gòn.
3 tim yang menurut gua terbaik ya kayaknya sih EVOS Phoenix yang pasti, terus ada The Pillar sama Total Gaming. Karena di turnamen-turnamen sebelumnya gua ngelihat permainan mereka lah, dia hasilnya bagus gitu.
Bảng B á, EVOS, Box, Heavy, chốt đơn.
ก็ต้องเป็นทีมเราสิครับ เพราะว่าทีมเรามันเป็นทีมที่ดีที่สุดในโลก
Terima kasih kerana support kami dan teruskan support komuniti Free Fire kami supaya ini lebih berkembang pada masa akan datang.
कॉन्फिडेंस ठीक है क्योंकि ग्राइंड पूरी चल रही है और डेली साथ में खेल रहे हैं हम सब लोग 3-4 घंटे एक साथ खेल रहे हैं, फिर सेल्फ ट्रेनिंग भी कर रहे हैं, तो जिस हिसाब से ट्रेनिंग चल रही है हो जाएगा, फाइनल्स में भी अच्छा हो जाएगा।
ฝากถึงแฟนคลับด้วยนะครับก็ฝากติดตามเลยนะครับวันที่ 20 ถึง 21 เอเชียรอบปีนะครับผม
Hãy cổ vũ cho Heavy cũng như tất cả các đội tuyển Việt Nam nhé các bạn.
Untuk fans The Pillar tetap dukung kita terus dan doain semoga The Pillar bisa jadi juara. Hati-hati aja, The Pillar siap jadi juara.
เดี๋ยวไม่ต้องพูดเยอะดีกว่า เดี๋ยวก็เจอกันในเกมก็แค่นั้นแหละ
FFAC là của Việt Nam. Sawadee.
Hello mọi người, mình là Cấm Đêm, mình đến từ đội tuyển Bus Sky. Mình thường hay chơi ở vị trí tăng cơ và hai khẩu súng yêu thích nhất của mình là chim cỡ kiếm và M1887. Chào mừng mọi người đến với series thao tác tay cùng tuyển thủ.
This November, we are very excited to announce a tournament dedicated solely to the Asia region. Free Fire Asia Championship, featuring professional local teams across Asia. A total of 31 top pro teams from 7 regional leagues will be competing to determine who is the best in Asia. Vietnam, Thailand, and Indonesia will each claim 5 spots in this competition, while India, Pakistan, Chinese Taipei, and the Malaysia-Cambodia-Philippines region each gets 4 slots. Free Fire Asia Championship will be held fully online in Battle Royale mode with 2 phases, Play-ins and the Grand Finals. 7 local champions move directly onto the Grand Finals, and the rest will battle it out during Play-ins for the 5 remaining spots. For Play-ins, 24 teams will be split into 2 groups, A and B, based on the drawing results. Each group will have at least 1 and a maximum of 2 teams from each regional league. Group A matches will be held on November 20th, and Group B will have their matches on November 21st. Teams will be competing over 6 rounds across 3 maps, Bermuda, Purgatory, and Kalahari. First and second seed from Groups A and B will advance to the final stage. The last slot will be awarded to the 3rd place team from either Group A or Group B, based on which team has accumulated more points in the play-ins. The finals will take place on November 28th, where the 5 teams from play-ins will then battle against the 7 local champions for the title of the best Free Fire squad in Asia. 12 finalists will compete together for 7 rounds in 3 available maps, with the last map being randomly picked. Stay tuned to our YouTube channels for the latest news, and we'll see you soon.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to a grand final S6 back-to-back Battle Royale Mayhem, where we find out exactly who will be the final 3 teams to join the rest of the best survivors in Asia. Welcome to the second day of the Playins for the Free Fire Asia Championship. My name is AJ, I'm the Mustachio, down here with the one and only Husky to bring you guys all of the best of actions from today.
Oh, it's great to be back, AJ. Great to be with you again. And of course, you all know it out there. Today is a day of great news because just 7 hours ago, Free Fire just got the award for the best mobile esports game of the year. So guys, we have officially done it. What a milestone for all of us. One of the most watched mobile esports event of the year was the Free Fire World Series, which happened in Singapore around May. So that's another milestone. And today we're about to make history in a continuous fashion. Like you mentioned, Group B for the play-in 6 maps, but only 2 teams will be guaranteed, and the 3rd team will have to see if they place better than what Supreme Assault Forces have proven themselves yesterday with 66 total points in 3rd place currently in Group A. But if anyone from Group B gets more than that and they're placed 3rd, they're moving through into the playoffs.
Yeah, the fight for the 3rd spot today, Husky, is a little bit more, I guess, easier in a way, because yesterday those that were fighting for the 3rd spot, they didn't really know exactly what the benchmark was, right? Today we know exactly what that benchmark is, 66 points. Are we going to be able to see any of those teams grab any bit more than that? And you know, knowing how much they need is one thing. Being able to bag it against some of these other teams is a whole other, right? Because, you know, we've got teams from so many different nations in here representing their country, representing their brands, all eyeing for that top spot, but only 3 from today, or potentially 2 from today, 1 from yesterday might be going through.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, you look at all these other nations and it feels like it's been such a long time since we last had some Free Fire actions, but you know, I think it's also the perfect opportunity for these teams to prove what they're capable of. This is the tournament timeline. We had the first day of play-ins yesterday with Tash and Danley on the English broadcast. We were able to witness Group A go back-to-back. So HQ and Synergy made it through into the finals already, which will be happening next weekend on November 28th. So today, it is all for the marbles. And truth be told, it is not going to be any easier, even though the benchmark has been set, because guess what? The previous world champion is in this group, Phoenix Force, or better known as EVOS Phoenix, where they're playing for FSWS. This is going to be the team to be looked out for.
Oh yeah, absolutely right. Rambo as well as D-Long, we are most definitely looking forward to both of those players jump out there and see exactly what they can bag. But what are they fighting for in the Free Fire Asia Championship, ladies, German boys and girls? $400,000 worth of prizes in here to grab. And of course, the lion's share of that 400K, 80,000 USD for those who manage to pick that number 1 spot, Husky.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of prize pool on the line. And this is also kind of the pinnacle, the echelon of Free Fire competition, at least for the Asia region. You know, we finally get to see all the nations kind of come together under the same roof and compete for this title. And of course, you know, from our home region, from our home nation, Malaysia, MCP, we have a lot of great talents. And in fact, I think going into the FFAC, the most surprising part is that 3 of the teams are from Malaysia alone. But let's take a look at the team list for Group B.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Ladies, German boys and girls, we've got EVOS Phoenix Force. And just like you said, Husky, everybody's got their eyes on them. But we also have some familiar names in here that we most definitely want to keep our eyes peeled for. Do Easy, BVS Gaming, Total Gaming in the house as well. You've got OG Player, 4 X-Men, Expert, definitely waiting to see exactly what they'll be able to bag out there. We've got GPX coming in from Indonesia. We have got Team Heavy coming in from the Vietnamese side as well. Box Gaming, House of Blood, C-Triple-G, as well as the Pillars. This wraps up the 12 teams that will be competing in the back-to-back 6 rounds in here today, Husky.
And this is the point system for today. Of course, first place, the Booyah gains 12 points. Second place, 9. Third place, 8. And the list goes on. 7 for 4th, 5th, 6 points for 5th place, 5 points for 6th, 4 for 7th, 3 for 8, 2 for 9th, 1 for 10th place. And if the teams place the bottom 2, they get nothing.
Yeah, I mean, 12 teams dropping in there to the zone in such a huge map. You would think surviving in towards that final zone would be easy, right? Exact opposite. You get caught out there in the open without a strategy. Many teams, we kind of saw yesterday faltering in that department. Let's see if or not they will be able to survive. But it's not just about the survival, right? Each and every single kill, they will be able to sandbag those placement points that they're not able to grab for themselves. So it has to be a balance of that very heavy aggression that you bring out in those games, as well as to see exactly how can you survive in for that final battle within that final blue zone, Husky.
Yeah, and at the same time, I think for FFAC, a lot of eyes were on the nation of Thailand simply because they won the World Series in Singapore. But I think right now the up and coming, or I think the leading region could very well be Vietnam. Heavy and Box Gaming, two of the teams are currently playing today in the second day of play-ins, and that itself should strike fear into a lot of these other contenders, because I feel like these guys have really gotten it down during that period in their local league, or at least for them is considered a summer league for our equivalent of FFMC. So these guys definitely have shown that they are catching up, and if anything, I think Vietnam is now on top of the leaderboard.
Yeah, and this is one thing that we most definitely can look forward to within the Battle Royale system itself, which is the gods of RNG most definitely do have a small little hand to play within how all of these matches do end up each and every single day, which is why we see the competition within the FFAC itself super duper tight, right? A team can be soaring up at the top 1 point, and at the very next round, you can get kicked out as the team in that 12th spot if you are not careful. Game number 1 starts off at Bermuda, then we move on into Kalahari, as well as Purgatory into game number 3, and then we will be moving in for a reset through these 3 maps. A lot to look forward to here, SK.
Yeah, and of course at the same time, this is also a very tight, a very competitive group. I feel like Group B is more of the group of death compared to what we saw yesterday, simply because we have so many powerhouses kind of put into the same under the same roof. And as for the MCP region itself, I do wonder how the two teams Do Easy and Forestman Expert are going to fare up against the ex-world champions, against the Vietnam Titans, and of course from the other regions as well. We have Indonesia, arguably one of the strongest regions that we have, and we're going to start it off by looking at GPX, a team that needs no introduction. If you talk about Indonesia, you have to talk about them.
Oh, absolutely, right. And, their brothers, the Pillars, with Ian 666, My Putra, Evans, Hams, as well as Celsi, each and every single one of them eyeing for that top spot. But it's not just Indonesia. India sending in those teams as well as PBS Gaming. They most definitely have already proven what they can do out there on that Free Fire battlefield, along with Total Gaming.
Yeah, and of course, one of the largest player base that we have in Asia is definitely, India, and they have their own community, and I think these guys are a force to be reckoned with. Of course, from MCP, we have Do Easy representing our region today, and of course, alongside that, we also have 4X-Men Expert. Now, these two teams, they made it to FFAC through sheer blood, sweat, and tears. I think Do Easy is kind of the more out of place one, the more surprising one. But we also have House of Blood from the region of Pakistan.
Oh yeah, absolutely, right. And House of Blood, they most definitely will be looking for blood, but will they be able to find in a lobby that has the champs in here, right? EWOS Phoenix Force, ladies, German boys and girls, representing Thailand. Each and every single one of their players will be able to hit, and when they hit hard. Their brothers dropping in as well in the name of C-Triple-G. Now, I'm quite curious as to what sort of a play style the Thais are going to go in here from the early get-go. But another region we most definitely can look forward to seeing shine out there on the battlefield, the Chinese Taipei region, Husky.
Yeah, with original player, and that is the only representative for Chinese Taipei, at least today. But we also have the region of Vietnam represented by Heavy, and these guys in the video just now alongside Box Gaming, they both agree that the Vietnam region is currently the strongest. region that I'm keeping my eyes out for, and most importantly, they are confident that every single Vietnam team is going to make it through to the grand final. So a huge statement, and this head-to-head is going to prove all of that. The numbers definitely favor EVOS Phoenix Force a bit more, but the final ranks, they don't deviate too far from each other. Heavy just 2 positions behind EVOS Phoenix Force, and they definitely have that room to catch up.
Yeah, in terms of bagging the number of booyahs, Heavy, they most definitely can get it done. But what's the point of bagging those booyahs if you cannot get up to that number 1 rank, right? That's exactly what shows exactly how dangerous EVOS Phoenix Force is out there on the battlefield. Truly unsuspecting in terms of, they really truly do creep up on you, not really with the number 1 ranks, but in terms of the consistency game after game after game. With the average kills, Heavy still manages to bag it with the 1.4, slightly heavier than the side of Cruz.
Yeah, and we're looking at, Heavy, they, in their local league, for summer at least, they were placed 4th, EVOS Phoenix Force placed 2nd, but we also have this one, House of Blood from Pakistan. We, kind of compared them to C-Triple-G. Local final, this one is a bit closer. House of Blood, they placed 4th. C-Triple-G placed 5th. And of course, both teams didn't get Booyah at least within that 6 rounds, but House of Blood, they have slightly better stats, from the headshots to average damage. They just seem a bit sharper with their shots if we just look at the numbers alone.
Yeah, and when you look at specifically Free Fire as a game, the headshots really do mean a lot because they are most of the time trick shots, right? You really know exactly when to flick your little cursor up when you go in for those shots. It's super duper mechanical, and that actually shows exactly what makes the Pakistanis so dangerous out there on the battlefield. It is all about those mechanical gameplays. And of course, C-Triple-G, as you can see out there on the board, their numbers are slightly lower in comparison to HOB, mainly because of that.
Yeah, and that's something that I think C-Triple-G should, would take into consideration going into the next 6 maps. But I feel like for Thailand, as a region alone, you placing 5th is also kind of an honor, and of course special mention to Thailand itself because they did win the World Series. They get an extra slot, right? And that's how C-Triple-G kind of made it into the picture. But today it is their chance to prove themselves. In fact, the entire Thailand region was stacked until that point. But of course, for House of Blood being the 4th place, the place at what we say the last seed from Pakistan coming into this, and the only team that will be playing in Group B today, they have a lot to prove.
Oh, yeah, absolutely right. Now, through all of these 12 teams, Husky, is there one specific team that you're looking out for to perform? Because my eyes most definitely on 4 X-Men Expert, not because they are from the MCP region, but mainly because we have seen their rise from 3 different, or this would be the 3rd particular competition, right? And they've managed to step it up, being some pretty new faces within the brand itself. They just came together when they managed to get everything done within the Malaysian series itself, and then they proved themselves in the previous segment before making it through to the FFAC second day qualifiers. Who do you have your eyes on?
I think if we talk about MCP alone, I'm looking at Do Easy instead. I think during during the MCP major, they were a very volatile team, right? You never knew if they were going to make it, and they, just like the group stage, they kind of barely did. But the grand finals definitely looked better. They ended up in 2nd place. But I have my eyes on Box Gaming from Vietnam, the final seed from Vietnam. In fact, out of all of the nations, all of the regions playing, only 3 countries have 5 slots: Vietnam, Indonesia, and Thailand. And I want to see what Box Gaming can bring in as the 5th seed from Vietnam.
Oh yeah, absolutely right. A lot to expect in here, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Do share with us exactly who do you feel will be jumping in to that number 1 spot as well as we kick this match off.
And of course, straight into Bermuda. We are going to starting off on a very mellow note, very normal and a very normal flight path. You know, the circle is pretty kind to us. Well, at least the flight path is pretty kind to us from the looks of it. But I wonder, how is MCP going to fare against this? We know when it comes down to Indonesia, India, Vietnam, Thailand, these 4 regions in particular, they are not strangers to taking on fights. Especially if you look at EVO's Phoenix Force. Sure, they didn't win their local league, but if you run into them early on, you better pray that you're ready.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Now, let's see exactly what Total Gaming will be able to pull out of Riverside. They do have a motorcycle right there. And just beside them, ladies, gentlemen, boys and girls, I believe the players from Do Easy, a little bit too close for my comfort, but they do have the vantage point. So if they are able to loot up a few of those weapons that can go in there for those long-range engagements, Total Gaming, they are in a little bit of trouble. The lead, he's a little bit too far off. But I just wonder if or not Do Easy is the kind of brand that will be making those early moves, because, you know, the fact that they ended up in the MCP majors in such a high rank, it shows exactly how good they are. You know, when the true pressure is on their shoulders. But throughout the group stages, they weren't really the team that a lot of people had their eyes on, Husky.
Yeah, and we were constantly looking at them rubber banding between, you know, qualifying for the grand finals and dropping out, right? Obviously, they stepped up at the very end where it mattered the most, and I think Do Easy coming into FFAC where you only have 6 rounds to prove yourself, they are definitely going to be playing on the more aggressive end, simply because we have seen them done so, especially while holding holding point high ground positions. Bermuda isn't exactly the map that gives you the most vantage point, but Do Easy, in fact, they realize that they're not going to get any pickoffs, so rotating away is probably the best choice. In fact, we're getting a very, very mellow start. No teams are within close proximity of each other.
And actually, that shows the quality within the Playins itself, right? They have done their homework, and on top of doing their homework, there were a few instances where we could have had an engagement, but those teams really just broke away very neatly. Each and every single one of these squads, they understand the risk that is involved with those heavy early engagements, and nobody wants to take a risk because of the number of slots that are available within the FFAC. A lot of money is on the table, a lot of pride for the nation is on the table, and you know, this is exactly what we expect to see out of them. I would have been truly disappointed if we saw any one of them kind of overextending early on within these matches. Each and every single point most definitely will count. And like what we've kind of seen from the other competitions, Husky, early engagements, if luck just isn't on your side, if those loots just aren't good enough, it's going to be a GG.
Yeah, and I think in this case, we are about to see the very first clash of the secondary players. Of course, the original player are going to be the one that gets kind of tagged on by C-Triple-G. And of course, when we look at Thailand as a nation alone, as a region alone, these guys are not afraid to take on that fight. And of course, with 80, straight in with the shotgun, that's first blood for C-Triple-G. And Chinese Taipei were not prepared for this at all. In fact, C-Triple-G, they're going to storm the compound. Of course, Yabo does get a knockdown onto Darren, but look at the glue walls coming out in a very fast manner. Original player, they can get the knock, but they cannot get the finisher. The revive is already there for Darren, and C-Triple-G, they're going to take over this entire compound. Original player, if they can't get out right now, they'll be forced to fight, but it seems like they'll have to suffer a couple more losses.
Hardy with a very smart play, switching in from the SMG in towards the shotgun, wraps around that blue wall and just busts open the opponent he had right in front of him. And now Yobo right in front. Question is, will Hardy make his move? He cannot go in here and underestimate his opponents. They know that, oh geez, they will be able to snuff them out with one wrong move. And the players from C-Triple-G, they back away. But the question is he going to go right round and flank, or will he just run away? Yoba gets knocked from the back, and that delete just comes in a little bit too easy for them.
And it seems like C-Triple-G are gonna fight one more. This time it's Kane. OGP not able to make any retreat. They did send that last survivor away from this compound, so at least they won't be the first team to get knocked out first. But C-Triple-G with massive damage dealt onto OGP, you can be sure that this team is not gonna put out any threat anytime soon.
See if or not the side of TP will be able to survive this danger zone, because right there beside them, I believe the pillars are just flirting with the situation. TG, ladies, German boys and girls, Total Gaming, Do Easy. Still in the compound beside each other. Jembal is taking a little bit of damage there as Delete tries to wrap around on top of the hill to get that vantage point. And now information is key, and if he's able to get up there, this might just be all over for the side of Do Easy. But on that note, Do Easy, they are backing out of there. They want to have nothing to do with this fight.
Yeah, absolutely loving this, right? We saw, and the last remaining player from OGP also kind of wrapping around this area. For Do Easy, they did lose Shah early on, so that's actually a horrible place for them to fight, especially when we saw a Delete kind of wrapping around the corner and trying to find a decent angle. So I like what Do Easy is doing. Generally, we look at MCP, when the fight starts, they just don't know when to stop pulling the trigger. These guys like to fight, but in this scenario, you kind of have to appreciate their discipline every now and then.
Yeah, that's the value of a true champion, right? You know exactly when to pull the trigger. And if you are just trigger happy in a game like Free Fire, you're just going to give away way too much of information to the teams around you. And getting third-partied so early on in the game, just not a great idea. So let's see exactly what Heavy will be able to do, because they seem to be a little cheeky, just playing around with the edge of the circle here. And I understand exactly why. PVS, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, PVS Gaming Esports right in front of them. Now this Indian team, are they going to be able to snuff out the Vietnamese? Because, gatekeeping them at the bridge, potentially one of the best things that they can do, and nothing Heavy can do in terms of a response against that.
Yeah, and you can see that Heavy, they definitely know that someone is in front of them. Yeah, you can see there's a silhouette. And Heavy, they might just go straight for it. Okay, Panda, he's already kind of slowly charging in with that truck and with that UAV. The rest of Heavy, they're going to be lagging behind, but the vehicles are available if they want to continue pursuing this avenue. And I'm judging by what Panda is doing, he's just getting as much info as he can. I don't think they're in a position to fight PVS. The good news is PVS will be the first team to move into towards the circle, and for Heavy, they get a bit more time to kind of scavenge the area, though I doubt there will be much left after PVS abandon the spot.
Yeah, similar to what Do Easy was doing, they just want to jet out of there as quick as possible. They don't want to have any of these early engagements because, you get taken down early, bye-bye, that's one round left, that's 5 more rounds left for you to go in there and try to bag something for yourself, and it's just way too little, right? It's not the group stages, it is literally one day, one grand finals that you have to come out here and perform 6 rounds back-to-back, and if you don't show up with your best, you are going to go out with the rest, whilst, a couple of these teams make it through to the next spot. Darren got picked up very early on. Good on the guy for getting 1 kill. And now as they move on through, they might be able to find the pillars. And from Bhima Sakti Strip, if they can keep on to this sort of a vantage point, they will be able to get that advantage over the pillars. But it seems like they're going in for the rush a little bit too quick, not really spotting out the area in front of them, which can really turn out to be a very, very bad mistake. Because not just the pillars, because right in front, HDB stands away, HOB, House of Blood, they stand away as well. And they have got already all of those platforms, which we know will come in very, very useful.
And PVS, they might just be forced to fight as a TG. They're already here in this area about to take on a PVS. So Total Gaming, this is their time to kind of draw a couple of first bloods. PVS, they are split up. This is basically, a friendly fight. This is Eternal Warfare. PVS Gaming and Total Gaming Esports are from the same region. Of course, it is unfortunate that this has to come down to a friendly standoff. But Mafia, he's playing on that high ground. And that is going to pay off. He did get the knock on Eco. So Total Gaming, they are definitely still in the game just yet. For CRJ, he's now going to go straight forward into Yogi with 0 regards, gets the knock and the spray down. The follow-up from TG is just a bit more cleaner, and PVS gets completely obliterated. Shiv is on that hill trying to run to a safety, and for RJ, he's gonna try to chase, but they're stopped in their tracks because Do Easy did intervene. And on the other side, we have Boss Gaming taking on Evo's Phoenix Force, the reigning world champions, already getting a couple of knocks. Joyner is going to be down as well as Reno fights the exchange, but Rambo comes in for the refrag, and it seems like Box, they are getting cut apart. The disintegration of the team in the hands of Evo's Phoenix Force, and indeed, it will be them suffering the first 2 deaths. Rambo down for a second time, but Box Gaming still cannot find a finisher.
And now let's see if or not Box will be able to step into the house, because two of them very smartly jumps outside of the compound. Now God times 2 to the power of 2. He does not go in, managing to not go in for the knock at all, but Cruz instead will be able to pick a knock for himself. For X-Men, X-Men, this was that third party that we were talking about. You take those early kills, you are going to be putting that blood into the waters, and the sharks, they'll come swimming through. And for X-Men Expert, they smell that blood. Will we be able to see EVOS Phoenix Force fight their way out of this? A couple of grenades through those doors will just do the team in.
Yeah, and for X-Men Expert, they better not mess it up, because EVOS Phoenix Force, they don't have much time to recover. So this is the best chance for X-Men Expert to get a couple of points. But those glue walls are so perfectly placed. Those nades, they can't make any connection, that EVOS Phoenix Force now will use this bot time to get a bit of composure. And for X-Men Expert, they make the choice to back off, and all in the line of sight of the gods. But problem is, he cannot reveal himself. And in fact, on the way out, Rambo gets a knock onto Goku, and Spade is also knocked down as well. You want to challenge the gods, you best not miss. And for X-Men Expert now will pay the price.
Oh, for X-Men Expert, they went in there for the push. And I would say they already had the right idea, right? Just the execution could not be pulled off because of the stellar defense coming out of the EVOS players. And now they finish off the god from the side of Box Gaming. And that will just be a great opener for the current reigning champions. Now changing their sights right back to 4 X-Men Expert, who dareth step into the arena of the gods, the kings of Free Fire, and ask for an opportunity to take them down. Now, for X-Men Expert, the question is, are they going to be able to make their way away from this situation? Because potentially, when this when the blue zone comes in for the close, they might have to make their way past EVOS Phoenix Force, who will be able to gatekeep them.
And of course, when locally, the teams always approach their opponents in a more polite manner, right? They come in with some inquiries and they wonder if they can take it. But if SFAC against teams from all these powerhouse regions, you have to just take it, no question asked. And of course, for X-Men Expert, this is definitely them in a slightly new light. I think back in MCP, they would have committed to a fight, and maybe we would have seen a completely different result. But the fact that they were able to pull away and still keep everyone alive is a great display of discipline. Something that we saw from Do Easy early on as well, when they got cornered by House of Blood. So it means that there's only one team that got knocked out so far, and that was the team, and I believe, was it original play? I think it was OGP. No, OGP is still alive, so I wonder who got knocked out.
Yeah, HTB spreading out a little bit too far away from each other. Do Easy might be able to catch them a little bit off guard here. But Kai as well as Sami, they do have the vantage point. Jambal, Bayets, they close in the distance, but Bayets gets knocked down. Jambal as well as Ipan, they try to fire back. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, this seems to be a little bit too late, because here comes that rotation from Hogo as well, and he will be able to flank the players of Do Easy. And Do Easy now out in the open. Nade comes flying through, does absolutely nothing as a smart glue wall gets pulled right in front of Hogo.
Yeah, and Do Easy, they're in a horrible spot, and the only way is up. In fact, their backs are exposed to that one last guy from TG. So this is do or die for Do Easy, and they would need to take them a miraculous hole to pull this off. And Kai, he's gonna be going in for the swing, just drop the time turner, and a double pincer move from HOB should be able to do it. And of course, Do Easy will not stand a chance. House of Blood will bathe themselves in glory and knocking out Do Easy for 4 points.
Oh, that was so clean, man. House of Blood just putting on a perfect display of Free Fire here for everyone to witness. But now 4 X-Men Expert, they jump into the fight against EVOS Phoenix Force. And just like we talked about earlier, yes, Phoenix Force, they could have gate kept them. But 4 X-Men Expert not waiting for any of that to happen, sending in 2 of their main players for the push first, whilst we see Rainbow backing away from that situation, waiting to pull a flank. And let's see exactly how EVOS Phoenix Force will handle the Malaysian side that seem to be aggressing up on them. The movement coming through from the Malaysians seem to be super duper safe at the very moment. A couple of initial nades will be able to open up this play for the both sides.
Yeah, and they gotta do it quick. TG getting eliminated by C-Triple-G off screen. But if you're a Forex-Man expert, you gotta move right now. Blue zone closing in, and the only way through is for one. And third party the cruise with a good kick. He's gonna get a first on the screen, and he even ducks back into the building. This guy is so quick on his feet. The nimble movement is keeping him safe, and he didn't even take much of a damage. Meanwhile, my Putra found Rambo, and this is the third party that I've been talking about. Evil's Phoenix Force, they're not out in the clear just yet. They have to deal with two separate teams, and this is the chance of Forex-Man Expert again to redeem for what they have failed to execute previously with the circle so far away. These teams will have to fight for it, and of course it's going to be Olong getting knocked out by Rival. The Cruise does get a frag back, but Forex-Man Expert were able to respond. Meanwhile, outside Joanna getting himself a couple of pickoffs, and that's two members of Forex-Man Expert on the ground as Evil's Phoenix Force continues that rotation to get into the safe zone.
4X-Man expert. Now, with the very timely distraction coming in from the pillars, that might have just been the perfect opener for the Malaysians. Right now, 4X-Man expert, they can finish Rambo off, who is caught between themselves as well as the pillars, and Joanna just keeping really, really close to his team member as well. Now, from afar, ladies, gentlemen, boys and girls, the players from the pillars, they are not going to be taking their eyes off of them, but they have to be careful because the more noise they make, GPX will be able to turn around and keep an eye on them as well, and perhaps send a few bullets. Here comes that grenade launcher out of Ham, and he is literally going to go ham on the players from Malaysia in a couple of moments.
Yeah, and Joanna is able to knock a right bell, and even when he is near Death's Gate, Joanna refuses to let Forex-Man Expert disrespect them, and in fact, Forex-Man Expert will all expire and perish to the blue zone, as we are now down to just 5 more teams. You can see that GPX Esports is going to take on the Pillars next, and it is a total annihilation with everyone trying to make it to the top of the hill. Bam will find himself a very easy pickoff, and Heavy has not made any noise up to this point. They did lose a singular member, but that's pretty much it. And now Heavy is going to be staring down C-Triple-G on the other end, who have been having a phenomenal game alongside House of Blood.
The question is, do you want to be heavy with the aggression or heavy with the IQ plays, right? Because survival is the name of the game when it comes in towards battle royales. Unless you're the kind of team that can pick up 20 plus kills within each and every single lobby, then you don't have to worry about playing your positions at all. And now GPX with DV2 finding one player right in front of him in the name of Kim Chun, but will not be able to slice him down. Wings will be able to find one under the scope of his snipes as well, but this is just an open spot held on by the players from the side of GPX. They will need to expend heavy numbers of glue walls in order to close the distance and find themselves a different compound to take control of.
Yeah, and in the meantime, Heavy is slowly inching forward towards GPX. Wiggs needs to hold off House of Blood. There's a lot of angles that these guys need to cover because GPX Esports knows that. So they're gonna play a 2-2 split, covering both House of Blood and Heavy at the same time. Meanwhile, C-Triple-G, they finally start to make their move. And look at that, Haiti! He's running straight into House of Blood, and he just got a knockdown. C-Triple-G playing this very tight angle around this power plant, and Heavy is gonna take that opportunity as well. The glue wall is just a bit too overwhelming as this nade from Deadwood. Can he get the kill? It does blow off, but not that he matters too much. House of Blood's getting absolutely obliterated, and C-Triple-G still have time to go for the rest. Kim Jong will be the 10th kill in C-Triple-G's boat, and it seems like Heavy are also suffering massive casualties. C-Triple-G still alive with the entire squad.
Oh, GPX now bringing in so much of pressure from just that 1 kill now, bumping it up to that 5, will be able to fight C-Triple-G face to face, but a beautiful nade getting tossed in. Is he going to be able to get a knock? Finds absolutely nothing, and Justine does get a double. Deadpool as well as Bomo now on the ground, and GPX, all they need to do is just go in here for the finisher. Yes, Heavy is there to come in here and interfere just as well, but all of those glue walls in front, Heavy gets eliminated. GPX might be able to raid on top, and yes, they do with the first booyah of the day.
And GPX Esports starting the day off with an absolute of a banger. Great nade from Justin towards the tail end of things. That really set it up for the booyah. And of course, Heavy was able to hold on until the very end. Panda survived for as long as he could. And he was also kind of the reason why I think C-Triple-G were not able to hold on. You know, he came in the last second, guns blazing, throwing his life just like Rambo. But end of the day, it was GPX Esports who really toughened it out. And it all started with that 4-way fight where they held off both House of Blood and Heavy at the same time and was able to cripple those teams. And C-Triple-G did them a favor, took out House of Blood, and towards the tail end, underneath that power plant, it was that one Justin Nate that ended it all.
Yeah, I believe it was a little bit of smart plays coming in from GPX that kind of helped them survive as well, using that huge boulder that was on the map, right? They didn't really need to protect their right-hand side. In fact, they just need to look straight. A couple of glue walls on the right-hand side just when it was needed, when a little bit of more heavy firepower was coming in from Team Heavy, and that's all that was required. Too much of chaos within that midsection of the map, but the team that is able to handle it and kind of bag the win all throughout that chaos most definitely will be recognized in this competition, ladies, gentlemen, boys and girls, at GPX, just that name. But you know, the name of the game is always going to be consistency, especially when you drop into a format like this where you've got 6 back-to-back, battle royale rounds where anything can happen, Husky. So GPX, they will need to stay wary even in the game right after this, because if they can't keep this consistency up, their victory will most definitely mean nothing. This has just been round 1 out of 5 and anything can happen. I mean, like what we saw from House of Blood. From the get-go all the way to the final circle, it was just amazing performance coming out of the team, but just like that chaos kind of broke them down as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think we definitely, I definitely kept my eyes on the right team. I talked about Box Gaming and Heavy, and of course Box Gaming, they were unfortunate to get taken up by Phoenix Force, but Heavy made it to a top 3 regardless. This is our key player for game 1. Of course, GPX Esports Justin, the guy who was able to not just keep his enemies at bay towards the tail end, but also with that one wonderful nade to open up the opportunities and the doors for GPX Esports to steal away that first booyah. Now, he has a mark on his back. We'll see if GPX Esports can keep this performance going. Of course, they are the 3rd seed from Indonesia, and coming from a region as volatile as Indonesia, you definitely are battle hardened.
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. And GPX getting 2 of their players up there on the game kill leaderboard, ladies, gentlemen, boys and girls, and Hardy just sneaking in as well from the side of CGGG. Will we see the Indonesians reign up top today all throughout the matches? Once again, our eyes are out to see exactly which one of these brands can remain consistent through the 6 rounds. But worst case scenario, you just need to bring in 3 of those consistent rounds in terms of bagging solid points, right? Because expecting 6 back-to-back, I think it's a little asking for too much from any of these players. Looking at the fact that, like just in your words, Husky, this is the group of death for the Playins.
Absolutely, and I think for at least for Group B to kind of kick it off, this is on a very good note. And of course, as we look at the highlight, this is one of the opening fights that we saw, from Phoenix Force taking on Box Gaming. And Forest Man Expert, they did come in and try to intervene, but decided that it was not really worth it. The reunion happened afterwards, but with both Phoenix Force and Forest Man Expert getting eliminated thanks to the Pillars playing that guard watch from afar. But again, definitely see that Phoenix Force, they came in well prepared, and Box Gaming were just not ready for that.
Yeah, and the first time round, we expected 4X-Men Expert to be ready, but they went in there for the push, very aggressive, but they kind of bailed halfway through when they realized that, okay, maybe that, we expected to put an ambush off of these guys. They're defending in here a little bit too good, so let's back away. Later on, God knows exactly what got into the mind. I guess that the zone, the safe zone kind of got into their minds, and if they don't start making the move right now, they knew that EVOS will be able to not only gatekeep them, but potentially just eliminate them from the competition. So they were kind of forced out of their spot into this heavy battle, and they managed to bag that surprisingly.
Yeah, I think they got 2 kills at least before they went out. Would say it's a pretty it's a pretty decent opening, considering that they were able to completely retreat without losing any single member the first time. Was something that I would say they would definitely appreciate, right? They pushed up so far forward, and the fact that they just ran away and was able to set up for a second fight was something that I think is something that we don't think I've ever seen in our region when they were playing FFMC and MCP, and being a fresh team, they debuted just this year. I would say that they are doing pretty well. Look at the standings with GPX Esports in the lead, 22 points alongside a Booyah with 10 kills. C-Triple-G in second with 18, House of Blood in third place with 11, Phoenix Force in fourth place with 10, and of course the Pillars in fifth place with 9 points.
It doesn't matter who you are, you most definitely want to be performing just the way GPX has done within this one particular lobby, round after round, for a minimum of 3 of those, right? You want to bag, anything above 60 points to put you in a really good spot at a very minimum to fight for the third placement. GPX already with the right idea early on in the game, and House of Blood, although they got involved in many situations where they were sandwiched between 2 teams, it's just an absolute shocker that they were able to survive all the way down in towards that final zone, just merely by avoiding all of those initial gunfights. So, but just 4 kills. I kind of expected them to get a little bit more than that, Husky.
Yeah, I think that they were in close proximity of multiple separate teams on multiple occasions. Just that perhaps they didn't feel like they were in a position to take those fights, right? I think 4 kills, third place, 11 points. You can easily make that up if they keep this performance. I think House of Blood are still in a good spot. We saw from MCP, both Do Easy and Voiceman Expert on the second page with just one team separating them. I don't know how to put this. I think it's kind of what we expected from our region. They kind of start slower compared to Thailand or Vietnam, who just comes in guns blazing, and hopefully that serves as a decent launching pad. But I definitely think that GPX are off to a great beginning.
Oh yeah, absolutely right. And whether or not they will be able to keep that up in the sea of, great talent within this group itself, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, for the day 2 of Playins, we will be able to see, because match number 2 is coming up very, very shortly. Once again, do let us know in the comment section as to who do you think will be able to qualify through to the Free Fire Asia Championship. Only 2 of the names from this particular lobby will be able to make it through, or potentially 3 if they manage to bag a few extra points in comparison to SAF from yesterday, right? And so far, GPX managing to get it done, but a few of those names that managed to get in towards that final zone as well, they will feel like something has something has been robbed off of them, and they'll be looking for that final zone once again. But the question is, once you get into that sort of a momentum, will you be making these initial mistakes, or will you keep a calm head? Let's take a look, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, as the flight path shoots through Santa Catarina all the way down towards the maze.
Yeah, and when we look at Kalahari, it is always about Refinery. No matter how you want to play the map, Refinery will always be that focal point. It's the Mount Everest of Kalahari. And right now, teams that are able to skill it can plant their flag there for at least the first 2 to 3 circles. Now, Do Easy, as we know, is a team that always goes for Refinery whenever they can. And you can guess what? There's no contest at Refinery, but there's a contest somewhere else. Phoenix Force is going to take on Original Player right in the beginning, and Joanna has just found first blood. Original Player once more starting the game off with a casualty.
Now let's see if or not Joanna will be able to take out Angu as well. Yobo comes running straight towards Joanna. I believe she spotted him out already, but the information gets rallied through. Joanna does not get over-aggressive. Spots out Angu in the open. A couple of shots through. No. And off-screen, C-Triple-G really backing it up against another team with the Taboo just down on the ground. Question is, which is the team that fell victim to them?
It was Box Gaming. Once more.
What?
This is not a good opening. The first round, Boss Gaming got pushed by Phoenix Force and got wiped. In the second round, they just dropped to C-Triple-G. It seems like Thailand is the kryptonite of Boss Gaming right now. 2 rounds in a row, they get 0 points. But let's see if Yobo can at least cripple Phoenix Force. He does get the down onto the cruise, but when you anger the Phoenix, this mythical beast will hunt you down. And it seems like Original Player are back to where they started. The same deja vu fate, Xbox Gaming, just with Kane being the last survivor. The Pillars, they show up, but they're a bit too late to the party. It has already ended.
Yeah, the question is, will they actually go in here for the push onto the players from the side of EVOS? Because if they can bag a few tremendous kills here for themselves, they will be doing the whole lobby a favor. But no, EVOS Phoenix just a little bit too hot on the tails of their previous opponents. Tries to keep up, but they will get pulled out of that compound. And the Pillars very easily take over. And I don't think they're going to be able to find much in here, though.
Yeah, and I think the Pillars, they showed up, slightly later. I think it's fine for them. They got a kill. I assume that's on one of the players from original player, who was kind of crippled outside this particular compound. Although it feels like Ian, he is pushing his luck a bit too far, so he has gathered some intel on where Phoenix Force is, and now the Pillars, it seems like they are ready for some kind of conflict. Obviously, Phoenix Force have enough time to recuperate, but if you are the Pillars and you want to go for this push, you got to start off by clearing out Oolong, because this guy is on that flank wash, and if you don't get rid of him, he is going to be the crux that really slows down and cripples the Pillars.
Now let's see if the Pillars Gladius will be able to take out one of the heaviest, most notorious teams out there on the battlefield, EVOS Phoenix Force. A quick nade up on top of the roof, and Ian will not be able to find anything. But as to D Long, will that nade be able to put him down? D Long just backs away. Information is key, just peeks beyond that wall there, and he will be taken. He will see Joanna going down. D Long as well, down on the ground. The Pillars, what a way to turn things around. They shotgun straight to the chest, and you kidding me? He was Phoenix Force eliminated.
And that's exactly the execution that we want to see from the Pillars. Swooping it from the side, they were able to take care of Oolong on that flank wash. And that push was something that we felt like we should have seen in game 1 from Forestman Expert, but the Pillars showed us exactly how it's done. And with that, it really is a major setback for Phoenix Force. Now, this entire round has gone into complete shambles. They didn't even get all the kill credit for original players. In fact, out of 3 kills, they only got 2 points. So they're gonna kind of lick their wounds and be forced to wait for round 3. Meanwhile, Forestman Expert, they found CGGG, the team that made it to 2nd place and just knocked out Fox Gaming. This is gonna be a challenge for Forestman Expert. Thankfully, they have that high ground. Unfortunately, they have Darren from CGGG watching from the ruins.
Let's see exactly what will 4X-Men Expert be able to pull off in here. Deadpool just out in the open. A couple of shots from the side of 4X-Men Expert can put him out of commission, but the guy is just using his surroundings, using the compound around him to perfection. And the glue walls being pulled out here, expanded, might be paying a big price for it later on in those battles. But it just doesn't matter. If you cannot survive against 4X-Men Expert, then it's going to be game over. So CGGG doing exactly whatever it takes now just to survive for the time being. 4X-Men Expert, though, they are not really at the edge of the blue zone, but pretty much very close to it. If they're not careful, they might just get backstabbed here. So they have to look for a better compound for them. Yes, they do have high ground, Husky, but they still are out in the open.
And there's only that one way down from that mountain, I would say. So Forestman Expert, even though they have the vantage point, exiting, leaving that area is going to be a completely separate challenge. We also have House of Blood, who I believe made it to 4th place in the first round. Now, already moving pretty far into the safe zone. So far, they have been pretty much uncontested, able to get whatever resources that they want. But that's exactly what they did in the first round as well, playing a very passive game and not really engaging in those fights unless they have to.
Now, let's see if or not they will be able to continue that sort of a stride. But as we take a look at the players from the side of House of Blood, you know, they play one thing really, really well, essential for any battle royales out there. It's the game of survival. As long as they can sneak in towards that final zone once again, even if they do just manage to make it through to the end of the game with 4 kills once again, placement points will be able to carry them through. You either sandbag yourself with great kills, or you sandbag yourself with the performance and consistency with the placements. And House of Blood, I have a feeling they will be able to get into that zone once again in that final place, but will they be able to take down a couple of opponents? We know they've got the firepower to do that, but they're just playing this a little too passively. I want to see them break away from that.
And it kind of has to start with them getting a more strategic position in the circle. I think right now you have House of Blood, you have Forest Man Expert and Do Easy. These kind of teams playing on a more passive end. I think Original Play is also doing the same. Total Gaming and PBS. These guys haven't really shown too much aggression, but right now you have the Pillars. They're about to clash with Heavy. As Heavy, they're trying to outrun the blue zone, but they're running straight into the team that just wiped out Phoenix Force. So Panda will be the first one to get knocked down. And look at Heavy. They're not even gonna bother saving Panda. They are turning tails and taking a different route because this is a dead end.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, man. And you want to go up against the Pillars who just shut down EVOS. Yeah, you got to think again. A smart play is coming through from the side of Heavy. This was not the kind of battle that you want to stand around trying to fight. You want to be picking up all of those placement points instead. That's a much better bet to place on. And Ban as well as Kim Chun, Fudai outside of the blue zone, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. But the kind of damage they are tanking right now is not going to be taking them down. If they do get caught outside the blue zone, that's going to be a totally different situation because that's just going to be way too easy. But looking at the map overall, nobody's going to be taking them down. In fact, it looks like Heavy's just playing this a little bit too safely. They can sneak in towards command post.
Yeah, they are playing the long game. And, we are not going to expect Heavy to get any kills for the next couple of minutes. They have a long journey ahead of them. Thankfully, if they cut through command post, they will most likely make it into the circle without getting spotted, in any way. But the problem is now they have that distance to cover. And while all of that is happening, you can see that Do Easy, they're still holding on to this compound near Refinery. They are the most common spot for this team, and they might be rewarded because Total Gaming, they are just passing by.
Let's see if or not Do Easy will be able to get this information because they've got the platform advantage here. They just have to wish for two things. Number one, the team does not sneak under the platform because there is PVS right there behind them. And number two, they play their zone really, really carefully. We've seen a multitude of teams kind of making the exact same mistake of not jumping off that platform early enough. And as the Pillars kind of move away a little bit too far, we will be able to take our eyes and place it on the players of HOB. House of Blood taking it up against the players of TG. Let's see exactly who will be able to get out of this because the platform now held on by the players of TG. House of Blood right under them. Nades getting tossed up, just trying to force those players out of their positions. But TG, they don't really have to make a play. No pressure at the moment.
And they have to be careful because far away is too easy. So there's a potential for a third party, and with all of these noise, I think Forest Man Expert were also nearby. You have Heavy coming in from the other side, from I believe the eastern side as well. So this is going to. It seems like this is setting up to be a very messy conflict. You see GPX Esports, they are also slowly inching their way towards this area. It feels like this is the gathering post for all of these teams. And Total Gaming, they have the high ground, but you now are basically on a lone island surrounded by sharks. So this is not a good spot for them to be in. As CGGG, they just slowly made it through, and they are in a very vulnerable position.
Yeah, speaking of, positions not to be in, Darren shouldn't be there. And the guy, I highly doubt he's going to be able to get out of there. If he does, we will praise him, all right? Do Easy. Now, very lucky for them that the gods of RNG didn't place that danger zone right above their heads because out in the open, they most definitely would have been paying a huge price. But I believe Bias has spotted the players from the side of PVS kind of backing away from the situation. And he goes in to see if or not he will be able to take one of them from the back. But the players from Total Gaming, they now have to face off against PVS as a knock has come through to pick up FDZ Ajay. It's not going to be a huge issue, but the players of House of Blood, they are in that mix as well. Just pure chaos out there on the battlefield right now.
Yeah, and we just saw Heavy touchdown in a compound nearby, and immediately they get an initial knockdown already. So Heavy, they are not messing around. And look at that. In fact, they're slowly inching forward. And with the circle, just coincidentally, including all of these teams, and we have 9 of them left, in fact, I expect a carnage to ensue pretty soon. In fact, Heavy was not able to secure that kill. They will probably just hang around this compound for a while more. And for Ban, he needs to get some high ground coverage because you need some information as to what is happening around you. Again, House of Blood still playing under that platform, and it's only a matter of time before they are forced to make a move. Same as Total Gaming, there's no direct zipline to get them out of trouble. So these two teams are basically just trapped by each other.
Yeah, you know, the exact thing that I was wishing did not happen to Do Easy seems to have happened to Total Gaming, right? Because the moment you've got a team right under that platform and you've allowed them to take that position, it's going to be a GG for you, especially when the zone now forces you out of your position. Because the players, are you kidding me? How did Spade get taken down from afar? Mafia managing to spot that player out in the open, goes in for the shot and takes advantage. Now Rybel on the ground as well, and Total Gaming just making good work out of the Malaysians.
Yeah, and no, Forestman Expert, they are forced to move because of the blue zone, and they are moving straight into the line of sight. And you guess what? The best part, Darren, he is still somewhere in between those mountains, and no one knows that he's there. So Darren might just be able to sneak further into the circle, as now it finally moves away from both Total Gaming and House of Blood. So these two teams will have to evacuate pretty soon. You still hear the nades, and finally there's a singular knockdown thanks to Kai's nade from underneath. That is gonna put some pressure to TG, and in fact it was a secure kill. So now Total Gaming are slightly more crippled than they would have liked to be.
Yeah, I don't really agree with the decision from the side of Total Gaming to go in for those fights against 4X-Men Expert, because the smarter option here would have been to allow 4X-Men Expert to just make their way in towards that safe zone, because the potential of seeing House of Blood take that fight up or try to engage 4X-Men Expert for those kill points would have been the perfect opening for them to get off of that platform and potentially pull a backstab as well. Yes, it's a 50-50 gamble, but it's the kind of 50-50 gamble that you have to hope and pray for, because apart from that, how else are you going to be getting off that platform when there are no zip lines around available? Even if you did have a zip line available, you're probably just going to get shot off of it with the mechanical ability that the players from House of Blood brings into these matches. And now we switch our attention over to the pillars, and right in front of them, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, the players from the side of Heavy Fudai brings in that LMG, and that pressure will be able to take down all of those glue walls. It's all about the positioning, but the blue zone just putting on so much of pressure on them, and they will be forced in right in front of the players of the pillars.
As Firstman Expert gets eliminated by the blue zone, Ban is under fire, and there's no way they can get out of that. The pillars, with another clean wipe, takes out everyone and keeps their own team survive. House of Blood gets knocked out, followed by Total Gaming. A kind of an expected result when they're both trapped on that pedestal of a platform. And look at this, GPX Esports about to push in for the southern side again. Deadpool, the only guy left alive for C-Triple-G, hiding in that house, which will most likely be under siege by GPX pretty soon. He's leaving on borrowed time. On the other end, Do Easy are forced to take on PBS. This is a very open playing field for the final phase.
Yeah, remember what we talked about, consistency. GPX trying to show us that's exactly what they will be able to bring into this matchup. But now the shots coming through from Bayet, and you will not be able to see a takedown coming through, because Do Easy, they are going to be just a little bit distracted as the players from the side of PBS Gaming Esports come in for a quick backstab. Yogi gets taken down, and he will not be eliminated just yet. Rohit backing away. Do Easy, one by one, those players will fall, and Deadpool, he needs to recover as well, because here comes the pillars, and the pillars focusing to take down the players from the side of GPX, but two of those containers just serving as a perfect defense for them, not even having to expand those glue walls. Gonna be putting GPX in a great position for that final battle.
And they have 9 kills, and it seems like GPX are really trying to make that twofer run. And look at all those names! It's a grenade shower from GPX Esports, just in with another one onto Eco. And it seems like this is all but over. Deadpool finally shows himself. Rohit expiring to the blue zone, and GPX Esports will score the second booyah. Uncontested team from the Indonesian region. They have done it 2 in a row, and it felt like GPX Esports were untouchable throughout the 2 rounds.
Oh my goodness, it was all about the positioning, it was all about the shot calling, and it looks like each and every single one of the decisions made by these players were just on point today, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. We do have the lineup of Justin, the V2 Wings, Raw, as well as 18 Deer representing GPX, and the Indonesians are showing exactly why the region is feared when it comes to mobile gaming. They bagged 2 Booyahs back to back in a stage like this in the group of death at the Playins for the Free Fire Asia Championship. That is a huge statement, Husky.
Yeah, and the best part is this is GPX's best chance to find redemption for their fellow comrades of SCS Alpine from Group A. They were not able to qualify as they finished 4th place, so that eliminates any chances of the 2nd seed of Indonesia from making it into the grand finals. But GPX, even though they are the 3rd seed, they keep that hope alive. They've taken the torch from their comrades, and it seems like with these 2 rounds, they are in a very, very powerful position.
Oh yeah, bring it in for the 3rd round in a running, and I highly doubt others will be able to keep up with them. But you know, words may come out of my mouth. It is for the teams to prove me wrong, because the kind of talent that we do have in here for the Playins Day number 2, Husky, they are the kind of players that will be able to do exactly that, right? House of Blood, what a disappointment of an ending this time round. They were in the perfect position to punish Total Gaming, but instead it was the GPX to kind of finish them both off.
Yeah, and we kind of saw it coming as well, right? With the zone forced them away. It was an inevitability. It really came down to how much either TG or House of Blood can make out of it, and both of them fell victim to the zone. And of course, this is our key player from round number 2, GPX Esports, none other than Wings, with 6 kills. It was Justin who opened up the Pandora box for GPX Esports, and now Wings, he is going to carry that on with an amazing performance in the 2nd round.
Yeah, the headshots that this guy was hitting was just absolutely unbelievable. The numbers that he gets back to back to back, right? I mean, overall in 2 games, a stellar performance coming out of him. We did ask a question, can they remain consistent? An immediate answer coming out from GPX, and the answer is yes. And Momo still on the board with those 3 kills, but he will now be joined by Ham X Well, who picks up that 2nd spot, equalizing with those 3 kills. Overall, it's not just about these top game kill leaders for the leaderboards. It's about which team is able to bring in all of the consistency, especially when it comes to the aggression out there on the battlefield, not looking at those placement points, right? And GPX kind of getting it done on that segment as well, Husky.
And you look at the final phase, the final 4 teams duking it out. It feels like GPX is reenacting the script from game number 1. They were able to be in the best position. They were holding on multiple teams, and they were just picking off kills. We saw Do Easy trying to outrun PVS, and just from the bird's eye view alone, you know that Do Easy is not going to make it out alive, because they were running straight into GPX's crosshair. As we take a look at the highlight reel, this is one of the few moments of this match where Heavy were basically trapped by the pillars and the blue zone. They got wiped out, but 2 teams need our immediate attention, and that is Box Gaming and Original Player. These 2 teams have gotten 0 points across both rounds, and in both rounds, these 2 teams were the first 2 to get knocked out.
Yeah, and you know, it's all about the movements when it comes in from the side of the pillars, right? Because we saw the battle that this took against Heavy, and what they did was they placed themselves in the way of the blue zone. They knew exactly, I mean, everybody knows exactly how the blue zone moves, but it was them who made the decision to kind of sneak into that position first, so that the players from the side of Heavy will be forced to run towards them instead of away from them, right? And that kind of just gets the game done overall. GPX, on the other hand, they were just so dominant out there on the battlefield. Mechanical skills on display once again, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, bagging 22 points. Talk about consistency, Husky.
Yeah, and first round 22, second round 22, they're already at 44 points. And look at that. The closest team that is with them is probably C Triple G, but the lead is starting to widen. The Pillars also getting 15 points. PBS with 11. Total Gaming with 9 points. Do Easy, a way better performance, getting themselves 3 kills off of PBS, so they get 9 points. House of Blood with 5. Heavy with 4. Phoenix Force with 3. Forestman Expert with 2 points. Box Gaming at least getting 1 kill, and I believe that was onto the members of the Pillars early on, and original players, they still got none. But nonetheless, it felt like for Box and original players, whatever points that they get, whatever scraps that they have right now is not going to matter unless they step up their game.
Oh yeah, absolutely right. But of course, who else will be able to bring in the similar consistency as GPX as well as C-Triple-G? C-Triple-G, look at them stepping up this time around, right? 33 points overall, just 11 behind GPX. Not only are they not super pressured, they are pretty much in a great position, right? Because the only ones behind them, the Pillars, they are quite a way back in terms of those 9 points. And C-Triple-G, with the way they've been moving on that battlefield, it just does not seem like they will be the ones to go down early. The Thais have shown us that in a perfect balance of those mechanical capabilities in terms of decision making, they have gotten that perfect strike already, Husky.
Yeah, and C-Triple-G, again, we got to look at their head-to-head just now, and they were the last seed. They were the 5th seed from Thailand, and right now they are putting on a spectacle. Of course, the 32 points, I would say, is pretty impressive considering the fact that GPX had 24 points in worth because of their booyahs. If you take that away, I think C-Triple-G is basically on an equal level as GPX, just minus that placement. And it always came down to that final circle where GPX Esports were able to pull off the win.
Absolutely right. Now, who do you have your eyes on for the next win? Because we kind of have seen quite a number of teams just go in here for the push. A team like Heavy, although they've been in many great situations, they truly haven't been able to bag anything much for themselves, mainly because of how they've decided to take some of these fights, Husky.
Yeah, I think that definitely factors into it. I think C-Triple-G, you can definitely catch a whiff that they are a very aggressive team. They're taking those fights head on, and they are not afraid to challenge you. And in round 2, it did cost them a couple of their members, but they were able to stick it through until the very end. You really have to give it to, I believe, Deadpool and Darren for being able to kind of sneak their way in and almost unsurvivable circumstances, and that itself put C-Triple-G in that 2nd place, despite them not having the manpower.
Yeah, we've also got our eyes on PVS Gaming. The Indians have managed to make it in towards that final zone this time around in round number 2. But the question is, will they be able to, continuously be able to move on in towards great positions like that, right? Because when we looked at PVS in game number 1, their positioning wasn't, to be admired, to say the least, Husky.
Yeah, definitely not. I think PVS Gaming found themselves in very weird position 2 games in a row, just because they were forced to take fights that I felt like they were not ready to do so, but they were able to make the best out of it. But I think most of these teams so far are doing kind of what we expect them to do. Obviously, with some exceptions, Phoenix Force not doing too well in game 2, Box Gaming and Original Player completely blowing the first 2 rounds, and there's only 4 more to go. And they really need to step up the game to even have a chance to qualify for the finals.
And of course, with players like, with teams like Phoenix Force getting taken down so easily by the Pillars, that's a huge confidence boost for the Indonesians as well, right? Overall, Indonesia has been so effective within this lobby in terms of moving up to the top. The Pillars as well as GPX, if they can continue this sort of a pace, there's no doubt at all that they will be putting Indonesia up top, right? Now, are we going to be able to take a quick break? Yes, it is, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. A quick short break. We'll be right back with round number 3.
This November, we are very excited to announce a tournament dedicated solely to the Asia region. Free Fire Asia Championship, featuring professional local teams across Asia. A total of 31 top pro teams from 7 regional leagues will be competing to determine who is the best in Asia. Vietnam, Thailand, and Indonesia will each claim 5 spots in this competition, while India, Pakistan, Chinese Taipei, and the Malaysia, Cambodia, Philippines region each gets 4 slots. Free Fire Asia Championship will be held fully online in Battle Royale mode with 2 phases, Play-ins and the Grand Finals. 7 local champions move directly onto the Grand Finals, and the rest will battle it out during Play-ins for the 5 remaining spots. For Play-ins, 24 teams will be split into 2 groups, A and B, based on the drawing results. Each group will have at least 1 and a maximum of 2 teams from each regional league. Group A matches will be held on November 20th, and Group B will have their matches on November 21st. Teams will be competing over 6 rounds across 3 maps, Bermuda, Purgatory, and Kalahari. First and second seed from Groups A and B will advance to the final stage. The last slot will be awarded to the 3rd place team from either Group A or Group B, based on which team has accumulated more points in the play-ins. The finals will take place on November 28th, where the 5 teams from play-ins will then battle against the 7 local champions for the title of the best Free Fire squad in Asia. 12 finalists will compete together for 7 rounds in 3 available maps, with the last map being randomly picked. Stay tuned to our YouTube channels for the latest news, and we'll see you soon.
Menurut gua yang terbaik di grup B sih Prizepool, karena performanya kemarin naik banget dan kemarin juga dia dapet juara 1 di FFAS.
Evo's Thái là đội tuyển nhiều ngôi sao, giàu kinh nghiệm và họ là đương kim vô địch thế giới.
मेरे ख्याल से Evo's Phoenix की फिक्र होगी हमें हमारे ग्रुप में, इस वजह से कि वो एक वर्ल्ड क्लास टीम है। उन्होंने वर्ल्ड सीरीज में 4 बुया से अपनी कंट्री को रिप्रेजेंट किया, जीते वो, तो इस लिहाज से वो उनके लिए यहाँ पर इतनी मुश्किल नहीं होगी। वो भी यहाँ पर भी इसी तरह अगर डोमिनेट करते हैं तो हमारे लिए फिर मुश्किल होगी वहाँ पर बुया निकालना।
Menurut gua tim yang harus
Welcome back. This is the Free Fire Asia Championship Play-ins Day 2, and this is all within the rounds of Group B. I'm Husky alongside the one and only Mustachio AJ, bringing you guys the last 4 rounds of this Play-ins before we see who qualifies for the Grand Finals. And we can both agree that GPX Esports are off to a fantastic start.
Yeah, but it's just been 2 rounds out of 6 in here, and if GPX can hit a stride like that, any one of the brands out there can try to hit a stride like that as well. I mean, yes, we do have a great grouping in here. Yes, we do have the group of death with many of those supreme brands out there. But you know, only a select few will be able to come in here in the best version of themselves. And it just seems like GPX is just one of those brands. Another one of the brands that I definitely have been keeping my eyes out, peel for, House of Blood. Although they've kind of put themselves in great positions to take aggressive moves and bag a couple of early kill points in the matchup, they just don't seem to be focusing on those situations, right? They are playing a little bit too much of a passive gameplay. And although I do agree in terms of positioning and getting those placement points, that's the best of strategies to pull off, it still doesn't seem to be working greatly in their favor, Husky.
Yeah, I think so far that's something that they, at least throughout the 2 rounds, that they have been kind of struggling with a bit. Though I do feel it is not too big of a deal, at least for now. They are in a slightly manageable position. No teams have ran away with the placement just yet. You know, even GPX Esports, they got a head start, but it is still within anyone's proximity to catch up. So it really comes down to whether GPX can kind of stick it through for the rest of the day, and whether the teams can really step up. Again, the team Box Gaming and Original Players, these 2 teams are in grave danger.
Yeah, so apologies for that, ladies, gentlemen, boys and girls. We thought the match was already kicking off, but a little bit of a delay in here. But you know, great things come to those who wait, and I believe 3rd round in here for the Play-ins Day 2 most definitely is going to be lit up, because if history will tell us something, Husky, is that all of the players, they most definitely need a couple of rounds just to warm up, just to test the waters, just to see if or not some of the early decisions that they're making seem to be hitting, just to finalize what sort of a strategy they'll be going in for the rest of the day, right? So 2 out of 4, perhaps that was the kind of warm up a lot of these big brands were looking for. I mean, for example, even the Phoenix Force, they were taken by surprise, man. I highly doubt they expected to make such an early exit in that round number 2. The Pillars definitely put it up to them, but at the very same time, the Pillars, they've kind of sent out a huge warning signal to the rest of the teams out there and kind of put a huge, target on their backs as well, haven't they?
They definitely have. I think right now there are a couple of, front runners, I would say. Again, GPX, Esports, CGG, the Pillars are the kind of top 3 at the moment. In 4th place, 4th to 6th is actually Do Easy, Total Gaming, and PVS Esports. So, Phoenix Force, they are actually in 7th place. With all things considered, I think that the disparity between top 3 and the 4th to 6th isn't really that huge, but there's definitely some distance between the Pillars and Do Easy. And most of this, surprisingly, was because of kills and kills alone.
Yeah, so let's see if or not we will be able to see them get a little bit more aggressive, right? Because like we've been discussing so far, yes, those players, they do want to go in for those placement points, but too much of passiveness coming out of them. And if you avoid some of these great opportunities to bag those skills, even as I say that, I kind of am, playing devil's advocate in my mind, right? Because in a lobby like this, you get a little bit overexcited. Even if you are the Phoenix Force, you get taken down, man. Nobody cares about you, right? And, that's the kind of quality that we're looking at here in Group B. So to a certain degree, I kind of understand that passiveness. But, something's got to give. And it's teams like GPX, it's teams like the Pillars who go out there seeking for it that will be able to bag all of this. And, teams that are capable of getting such performance out there, like the ones I've been highlighting so far, House of Blood, if they avoid those situations, then GPX and all of the names of sort will just continuously pick these points up, very, very crucial points, and just run away with the day, right? At the end of the day, not many of those slots available, Husky. Final 3 in here. And I kind of think Group B might just be able to get the 3rd spot as well.
Absolutely. And of course, with that being said, this is going to be game number 3. We're going all the way to Purgatory. On the side note of the top 2 qualifying, we also have the 3rd place benchmark. Again, it is 66 points currently held by Supreme Assault Forces. From the MCP region, they had an amazing opening to the group stage, taken over by PXG Radicals, but they were able to overcome that and just barely qualify during the grand final. So SAF, they're on a kind of a redemption arc, and the fact that their fate now lies entirely in the teams in Group B is kind of worrying. But we'll see if any teams can break the threshold. Right now, the Pillars are the closest. They are 42 points away from tying up with SAF, and right off the bat, GPX Esports will run into their first opponent of Purgatory, and it will be PVS, and Wings will fight Eco once more, as it's going to be GPX Esports taking that first split.
This is just a GG, man, coming through from all of these players. And now GPX just going in for yet another kill. Will be able to find exactly that. Wings bags it for himself, and Justine just cooking up that nade already, looking for a few more of these players from the side of PVS. And now PVS Gaming Esports. We did kind of catch Shiv as well as Rowan45 running away moments ago. Yogi was in a position to kind of turn around and respond against the players of GPX, but he makes the decision to not stick in that position. Backs away, tail between their legs, but for a good reason. PVS, they want to play their placement points, and beyond that, nobody wants to take a fight against GPX in their current state, Husky.
Yeah, when GPX completely on fire, and of course, for PVS, they should feel lucky that they only lost one guy, and unfortunately, it was I believe Eco again. 3 rounds in a row, he has been the first guy to get knocked out. So pretty unfortunate for him in general. But we do have something, in case you guys don't know yet. the Esports Award for 2021 Free Fire, once more becoming the Esports Mobile Game of the Year 2 years in a row for Free Fire. I mean, we are making history across the globe and in the realm of mobile esports, and Free Fire definitely deserves it, and this is exactly why we're about to find out whether Phoenix Force can get the drop, and of course they will. On to Kane from Original Player, and this is going to be Joanna, the Cruz, slowly inching forward. An Original Player, they want to go for the rest and they will find Kane, but one comes up, the other falls down. Oolong will slowly inch forward to provide the backup for the Cruz, and Zhang, you can see he's trying to wrap around the fences to get a flank off, but it's taking him quite a while. And Phoenix Force, they're already swarming the members of Original Player. Joanna from afar providing that cover fire is making life so hard. Angu getting knocked down, the Cruz getting 2 in a row, the spray down is true, and Oolong will get the third. Jang finally finds the Cruz with a shotgun, but Original Player have suffered a lot of casualties, and Jang, can he at least get some rest? He might be able to get Kane back up, but Joanna is here.
But Original Player, all they need to do is just punish one more player, which is in the name of Cruz. They do not. They get wiped out. And Phoenix Force, they survive. But was it worth it? I highly doubt it, Husky. They've dropped a very, very important player in the name of Rambo so early on in here, and going up against the other teams, especially after their performance in round number 2, it's not going to be putting them in a great place at all. House of Blood, on the other hand, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we do have Mimi jumping on in replacement for Sami. Sami's not really having the best of days in here, and we kind of saw that from his gameplay.
And I think in the position, if you're in a position like as Phoenix Force is, it's completely fine. You get 4 free points regardless. Yeah, you trade one member, but at the end of the day, it's more about catching up in the standings, and that's gonna put them in a better position compared, especially after the abysmal round 2. Do Easy, they just lost one of the members to Box Gaming, a team that really needs a lot of points, especially when they started off the first 2 rounds with getting only 1 point. And of course, same to say for Original Player, this is the 3rd time in a row that they got 0 points by the end of the round. And you can see that if iPad can stand up to Ryuk, and so far it seems like the demon, the devil from Death Note is stronger. Reno is ready on the flank watch, and iPad will just swing into its own death. The glue wall dropped down by Reno to secure a kill. Jemba does have the nade, but it feels like it's not going to do too much. Only tags Reno for the 120 health, and iPad will finally fall.
Okay, now Ryuk there, it is all about the movements, and gets the catch on Tobias, who tries to close down the amount of space between himself as well as opponents, and Do Easy get taken down way too easily by the side of Box Gaming, as Reno bags 2 for himself. Overall, it was all about the movements, right, as to how they closed off each and every single one of that gap, and Do Easy with one small punishment in there does not go unpunished. And of course, on that note, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we jump on over to Total Gaming Esports as they just go in here for a quick drive-by C-Triple-G. A few shots fired up against them will show Total Gaming exactly who they are going up against, but I don't think this is a great idea coming out of C-Triple-G, because hot on their tails moving in towards their compound, it will be House of Blood. Now, this is the kind of third party that will be asking a lot of questions as to what's the quality out of the C-Triple-G players in here. What sort of a strategy are we going to see? Do we see them keep quiet? Do we see them backing out of this compound? Or do they take on 2 teams at the same time, Husky?
No, we see Triple G and the areas that they covered. Maybe them taking on 2 teams at once seems to be the most plausible of scenarios that might happen. And of course, Kai for House of Blood, he is going to be that scout for the team, and it's going to allow House of Blood to slowly inch forward. They're going to send up the UAV to see if they can get some info on the members of C-Triple-G, and in fact, they will be able to. And that's going to confirm the presence of C-Triple-G. And look at this House of Blood. They're going straight for the push. And C-Triple-G, they have to react as soon as possible. Haiti is the first line of defense. And using that glue wall, he's going to be able to buy some distance for himself. The nade to throw out in retaliation as they set up the retreat. But House of Blood are relentless. Going in for the push. That's the first knockdown. Thanks to Momo sniping of Kai. Hogo coming in from the side as well. They were able to down Danny. And C-Triple-G are down to just 2 mats in this vicinity. Mimi in the red. And it will be blown out as well. House of Blood runs straight into a minefield. And it's C-Triple-G with the wipe.
Yeah, so House of Blood showing me exactly why they weren't getting aggressive early on in the game, because that's exactly what might end up happening. C Triple G taking that fight up so well. Early nade opener, Kai getting knocked down from that shot of afar. And, you know, this was just House of Blood not really calculating their approach in for that fight, right? They should have gone in there for a little bit of damage. They had the open compound out there, which they should have known would be working against them. And now PVS Yogi getting stuck right at the edge of the zone. Reno right outside. Ryuk will be able to put on so much of pressure in here, but the side of Box Gaming, they might be able to see a little bit of a challenge coming out of the side of PVS here with the positioning.
Pink is should be able to find that last guy from the side of PVS, as Joanna from Phoenix Force drives the rest of his team past this compound. They're not it seems like they don't have a plan to contest this at all. Yeah, it seems like that's going to be the case. They will just completely ignore the commotion, as Pink will go in to try and finish off Yogi. Yogi does get one, but he does get knocked down. And of course, for Box Gaming, they will bag another kill for themselves.
I really thought Yogi got another one in that situation as well, man. He could have turned things around, but now here comes Phoenix Force. They've heard those shots already, and they want to stop Ryuk right in his way. Oolong drops by to say hello as well, but will not be able to stop because he just ends up in between all of them. And Phoenix Force just trying to position themselves behind the building just so that they can secure this compound, because once they do so, and bye-bye Box Gaming is what they will be able to say. Oolong just pulling away some of these shots, playing the distraction so that Joanna can set this spot up.
Yeah, but he's getting pushed, and look at that, the site being pulled out by Phoenix Force, but Ryuk's already down. Oolong, Joanna also down as well. And Phoenix Force, they are completely crippled. Last man alive is the Cruise, and he's gonna try to cruise his way out of there, but the Ryuk will hunt him down. Phoenix Force out again, and it's Box Gaming delivering revenge with 8 total kills so far.
Box Gaming, God, with the power of 2 so far, 8 kills. They look like they are in a great position. But of course, it's all about who will be able to reach down to the final zone, with Box Gaming outside of the safe zone so far and out. They might just not see the day of light as they try to make their way in. BBS still has got Shiv alive and kicking, trying to make his way in. And we might be able to see the side of TP, the Pillars, shut down all of the approaches, as they might be the most possible ones gatekeeping the rest of them out there, right? GPX in a great position as well, unless they try to move in towards the next zone a little bit early here, Husky.
And I just want to say that Box Gaming are so far away. They are literally at the edge of the map. But thankfully, they were able to retrieve some vehicles of the dead bodies of Phoenix Force. An extra bike, if I'm not mistaken. So that should have allowed them to rotate into that circle in a very quick and convenient fashion. Obviously, for a Total Gaming Mafia, knows where Momo is in that watchtower. And that has been the area that he held on for the longest of times, ever since C-Triple-G got to the area that they're in right now. They were able to hold off House of Blood just now, but Momo, right after the commotion, he actually ran to join his team, and by the time he reached, they wiped the House of Blood, and Momo was like, you know what, I'm gonna go back on guard duty. So now he is back in the watchtower again.
Total Gaming, they are in quite a sticky situation, as C-Triple-G is not going to be an easy fight to take on. The Pillars across the waters won't really be much of a distraction, but with them now going in here, crossing the bridge, if the Pillars take a left, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, then maybe that's the kind of opener that the opponents of C-Triple-G will be needing from across the waters. But now the Pillars hitting that left, C-Triple-G on towards right across them. Hadi.
Oh boy.
One shot is all we need. And Heavy might be in a little bit of trouble as well, but it is the side of the Pillars just trying to get that initial information on their side. Danger zone is created, and we might not be able to see the side of C-Triple-G make their way out of this.
Yeah, and you can see that the Pillars, they finished doing some surveys, and that gunshot from Darren is going to signal the presence of C-Triple-G in this area. And the Pillars, they are retreating so far back. They're actually going back to the area of the bridge. So this is a lot of space given over to C-Triple-G, a lot of respect given over to the team, as the Pillars decide how to navigate this area. As we say that, Box Gaming finally touched down close to the safe zone, and they are now within what proximity of Total Gaming, who are still hold up in that fishing hut just because Momo is watching the area.
I'm getting goosebumps here, just seeing all of these big names just pull up in towards this zone, just preparing for the next battle, right? With the 8 kills in here so far, Box Gaming, they perhaps might be the favorites to back the Booyah, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, but the aggression early game does not decide what happens at the final zone. What decides happens at the final zone is all about the team that gets the best placement. It's all about how you position yourselves to take the potential final fight, because it kind of gets chaotic in there, Husky.
It definitely does. And I want to see if it comes out to this third circle, where would it end up? Perfect circle for C-Triple-G to work with. It felt like they've read this perfectly. They are in the center, and they will be able to gatekeep all of the teams that try to push on forward. And I'm expecting teams like Forestman, Expert, and Heavy to move further in if they don't know that C-Triple-G is around that vicinity. You can see that GPX Esports playing the same way that they have so far, playing outside the circle, not really rushing it. And in fact, I don't think we've seen GPX's name pop up that often. They only got that 1 kill.
Now let's see exactly what they will be able to pull up in here. Heavy so far with the casualty on their side, just inching forwards to towards the next safe zone. Just playing this a little bit too early. What I'm afraid of is the open compound, right? But with the early moves in, they should be able to find a spot for themselves. C-Triple-G in front of them, a little comfortable already. So perhaps the final zone already is going to be moving on towards there, right? Because the luck on the side of C-Triple-G seems to be a little solid today. And with the concentration of the number of teams in here, though, Box might get a little bit lucky as well. Let's see exactly where do the gods of RNG send the next circle, Husky.
I feel like for C-Triple-G, they are in a very comfortable spot. And now it really comes down to Box Gaming. They are at campsite, so just at the edge of the circle, towards this northern side, you have Forestman Expert who are about to crash into this area soon. So this is kind of an inevitable fight. You have Shift from PVS behind. I think Forestman Expert saw him, so this should most likely be a confirmed kill. But that also alerts the member of Box Gaming. So Forestman Expert, they're getting shot at Spade down low. Thanks to that one shot that they fired at Shift. Now they have alerted the entire squad of Box Gaming. And you can see that Spade, he's getting knocked down. And unfortunately, with the Blue Zone pushing in, whoever gets knocked will have to be surrendered. And for Spade, he's going to be gone. Goku the second to follow as well. Jabat is the only one who made it onto campsite. But the rest of his team are falling like flies. Maru desperately trying to sprint towards his teammates. But the gods and Reno are already on the case. The nade's being primed out. Maru behind that glue wall. The nade doesn't connect. Maru gets to regenerate. But Forestman Expert can't really get through this area at all. As you have Maru getting knocked down. Shift finally dying to the blue zone. And Reno will do the finishing blow to Jabat, who is overwhelmed. And Forestman Expert are out.
Yeah, 4X-Men Expert unfortunately done in by the one and only Shiv from the side of PVS. Guy plays a little bit of distraction, doesn't even get taken down by any players whatsoever, dies to the blue zone. How unfortunate. But that just kind of undoes the whole play of the Malaysians. And now, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it is all about the question of who will the gods of RNG favor right after this. C-Triple-G in the middle of all of this action. And yes, the safe zone will be moving on towards them. And their luck just has been absolutely solid just like that. And now Heavy making their way in. They clearly have those vehicles on them and they will be able to position themselves a little bit more. But look at Box, the players from the side of Box, they come in straight for the fight against C-Triple-G, and this is gonna be crazy, Husky.
Yeah, Momo needs to go. They need to clear out Momo. And yes, in fact, they do, thanks to Celsi from the pillars. Momo is going to be down. That's going to open up the entirety of the fishing hut. GPX, they actually decided to go onto the opposite side. And now they have to... They're kind of trapped on the southern island as this chaos unfolds on the main land. You see that Van from Heavy getting a couple of kills on the members of Total Gaming. Total Gaming finally taken out. Kim Chun kind of trapped in this watchtower, and Celsi from the other watchtower will be doing the sniping job. But Kim Chun, he's also trapped because GPX Esports will be able to take him down as soon as he pops his head out. C Triple G, Darren in a heap of trouble as Box Gaming tries to go in for the kill. Real is going to try and get a couple more on the board. The reload comes through, and the Pillars gets the wipe. Box Gaming have been cut down as Celsi continues to stay strong in that watchtower. Ian, on the other hand, will wipe out C Triple G. The Pillars with 7 kills, and they're all still alive. But that one Overwatch has just been knocked down by GPX.
Yeah, but now GPX, the question is, how will they be able to pull this off, right? They need to swim across, and there's heavy fire from the side of Heavy. The best situation is for the Pillars to distract Heavy and for the side of GPX to make their way out. But Celsi might have just been able to send that information already over to them, and GPX now being pressured by the blue zone, and they will be forced out of that spot. GPX gets taken down. It will be the Pillars shutting down each and every single player from the side of Heavy. But Panda making a play with a sliver of health left on himself. Kim Chun with the shotgun as well, Husky.
They might just do it. Panda gets another confirmed kill. Kim Chun now, he knows where the members are from the side of TP. My Putra takes out Panda. Kim Chun goes for the swing, and Ban from the other end will do it. Heavy Gaming, Heavy lays down the final blow, and that is the booyah that they've been looking for. That will put them in a better position. And what a performance from Heavy. And from the get-go, they knew that C Triple G was at campsite. They knew that C Triple G was in the center, but they stayed put, and the patience finally paid off.
Yeah, information is king, and unfortunately, GPX just calling one shot really wrong, right? Securing a compound for themselves across the waters. Now, that was one of the worst mistakes that they could make for themselves, whilst the concentration of these players were all over on the bigger island, right? And that was just played so well on the side of Heavy. And yes, GPX, they were kind of spread out onto the battlefield. Sorry, the Pillars, they were spread out onto the battlefield, mainly sending one little sniper away into that scout tower, which you mentioned kind of got handled pretty well, and Heavy mainly bagging it for themselves. Great plays coming out overall from all of these teams, but Heavy, from the first 2 games that they played in here, they couldn't really perform to the best of their abilities. They got shut down prematurely, Husky. This time around, was it luck? Will they be able to bring it through once again? Consistency is key, just like what GPX has already shown us, and they need to get that done, man, because it's already been flaunted in the past 2 rounds.
Yeah, and the one team that definitely did step up is Box Gaming. Sure, they didn't get the booyah, but they went out with like, I think 12 or 13 kills. That's going to be a decent number to bump that up in the standings, and they just need to keep that up for a bit more. I'm surprised that GPX Esports decided to take that turn and go all the way to the island. Yeah. The last time we saw them before that point was that they were all alone on their western side. It felt like they had a clear path. Probably just a mistake in their judgment, really costing them the round. But in GPX's defense, I don't think they're too bothered about it, though they didn't end the round with much kills. So that's something that's going to allow teams like the Pillars and C Triple G to catch up on.
Yeah, they're going to catch up. Are they going to be able to overtake? Worst case scenario, what happens, right? Because we're just at the halfway point, ladies, gentlemen, boys and girls. 3 more games left in here. This time, the key player of the match to pick the game up for the side of Team Heavy, the one and only Kim Chun, with the 3 kills in here for game number 3.
Yeah, and for the side of Heavy, before this round, they were in 9th place with only 13 points. And this round is going to bump them to, I think, close to 30 points. And that is a very powerful position to be in. And it will also make the rest of the group a bit more competitive. And of course, let's take a look at the game queue leaders. Even though Heavy got the booyah, you cannot underestimate what Reno has done for Box Gaming. 6 monstrous kill, followed by both Ian and my Putra towards the very end. It felt like for the team, for the Pillars, they almost would have done it, but Panda surviving on 2 HP was what made the difference.
Yeah, you can't go in there, you can't grab the booyah for yourself, you sandwich yourself with you sandbag yourself with each and every single one of those kill points, right? Reno really delivering it for his team. Overall, Box Gaming got quite a number of kills in this particular lobby for themselves, so they're not going to be too fussed about it. But earlier on, it was the damage onto the players of the Phoenix Force that concerned me overall for their performance in here. An original player, they were just unfortunate because they were stuck in an open compound against the wrong team.
Yeah, 3 rounds in a row, original player got 0 points. So it's very safe to say that their chances of making it to the grand finals is almost out of the window, unless they pull off a miracle run. But we have seen miracles before, and now they need that. And this is one of the push. House of Blood wanting to take on CGGG, but ends up running directly into a shooting gallery. And I wouldn't say it's House of Blood being reckless, but it's more CGGG being well prepared. Those glue walls threw House of Blood off of their compass, and they had no idea where the members are. Everyone for CGGG had exact information of where to shoot, where to swing, where to flank, and they just did it perfectly. This one, Box Gaming taking out Phoenix Force, a very unfortunate turn of events.
Yeah, and then later on 4X-Men Expert, after PVS kind of distracted them and allowed the side of 4X-Men Expert to take those opening shots, a lot of information was, of course, given away to the side of Box Gaming, and this was way too easy. Pressure from the back, from that blue zone, and the shots coming through from the side on the side of Box Gaming shut down those Malaysians way too good, way too quick. But Heavy, how did they turn things around in such a crazy situation? It was all about the shotgun play. They try to close the distance between themselves as well as the players right in front of them, and it was a smart pull of the time turner at that very final moment. But it was the smarter play by the side of Heavy to play timing to the T and then jump into the time turner to go in for that shutdown. Overall, 7 kills, not above Box Gaming. You get a crazy 12, but it seems to be just enough. 19 on top of the 13 that they've gathered so far in the competition keeps their hopes alive, Husky.
Absolutely. Of course, Box Gaming, 12 massive kills. Sure, they didn't get the booyah, but they did amp up their aggression, wiping 3 teams in a very clean fashion, followed by the Pillars with 17 points, second place plus 8 kills. CGGG again a very consistent 13 points on top. GPX finally suffering a slightly slower round with only 1 kill and 9 points. And Phoenix Force to 7, Total Gaming with 5, 4X-Men Expert with 4 points, PBS with 3. Original player actually getting 1 kill. I think that was on Phoenix Force. House of Blood with 1 point, and Do Easy getting none. I think for Heavy, they definitely would have lost the booyah over to the Pillars had Panda went down, because he survived with 2 HP. He was able to revive Ban, and that's how they kind of pincered the Pillars and won it out. But nonetheless, this is the total standings, and GPX plus CGGG are still at the top.
Yeah, and surprisingly Heavy, they are still in the running here to grab the 3rd spot available within the FFAC, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, because remember, the benchmark is SAF 66 points, which Heavy should be able to beat if they can bring in a consistent, 12 points each and every single game. Potentially, if they can grab yet another booyah for themselves, as they have proven to be able to do just in this round, we might be able to see them get the dream run, right? But they will have to get that done over the dead bodies of the Pillars, who have been absolutely sharp in the competition at the moment. And of course, there's nothing more we can say about CGGG or GPX that can hype them up even further in the competition. They've definitely been on point.
Yeah, and I want to say that it seems like the kill volumes for Group B is just a bit higher than Group A so far. You look at, again, the benchmark SAF, they only have 28 kills out of the 66 points. So the Pillars, they're already sitting at a total of 19, no, was it 9? Yeah, 19 kills. So they're 8 kills away from tying out the kill amount, and they're already at like, what, 40 plus points. So this is looking pretty grim for SAF, just as an update. But GPX and CGGG, the fact that these 2 teams are the most consistent one, is no surprise that they're sitting in the top 2 and in prime position to qualify. The bright side is that the competition is still on. Heavy finally caught up. You have the Pillars as well, following closely behind. This is definitely not set in stone just yet.
So CGGG, they need to be a little careful as well, because as to how tight the competition is in here. I will not be surprised if we can see the Pillars kind of overtaking them on the standings, and then maybe teams like Heavy kind of creeping up on them as well, right? Because this literally is the halfway point, Husky. We've got 3 more games to go, and if this much of drama can have already happened in the first 3 games, things can definitely get either mixed up or solidified. Which team will be able to show us for sure within the next matchup itself that they are going to be qualifying through to the FFAC? It will take a lot of crazy performance out there on the battlefield for a team like GPX or say Triple G to kind of secure that within the game number 4 itself.
Yeah, and we are starting to see a couple of front runners, right? GPX Esports, C Triple G, the Pillars, House of Blood. I would say Total Gaming is also in the running, and probably can include Heavy. But right now, we are starting to see the hierarchy separate these teams from each other. The rankings is on the right side, as you can see right now. Heavy, Phoenix, Forest, Box Gaming, the Pillars, C Triple G, and GPX. Though for Phoenix Forest, they are in dire need of a good performance as we head into round 4.
Oh yeah, absolutely right. And unfortunately for a team like 4X-Men Expert, although they've been doing all right's just not enough in the Playins Day 2, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, because of the quality of competition, right? They are literally sitting down in the 11th spot with just mere 12 points in their hands. Teams like House of Blood not doing too great at all. But let's just see exactly how Original Player will fare as they drop in between PVS as well as C Triple G. Not the best way to start if you are feeding at the bottom.
And it feels like they might end up being fish food again, as we have Yobo. He's gonna get shot by Yogi from afar, and that is a lot of attention, but Yogi gets the drop regardless. Unfortunately for Original Player, they are just not off to a great start. In fact, it's gonna be first, but Jembao getting the kill onto Total Gaming on the other side as Fozia J running around trying to go for the flank, and a good backup from iPad taking out Mafia. Mafia Bala does take out Jembao, but Do Easy, they're leading in terms of manpower. Shah from the flank catches Fozia J as he was trying to retreat, and that should be Do Easy winning this skirmish hands down. An explosive opening, and contrary to the first Bermuda round, this time the teams are running straight into each other.
Now let's see if or not Mafia Bala will be able to get away from Bayat's dead eye, right? Just drops in here. Mafia Bala holding on to the tower as cover, but a 2-man flank will be more than enough to shut down his approach. But I believe Too Easy does not even suspect that he's behind there, and Mafia Bala might have gotten away with this.
And definitely saying a saving grace. Meanwhile, Eco gonna take out Kane. For the side of Original Player, they run away from PBS. They run straight into C Triple G, and they run straight into I think a Total Gaming. But with that being said, we will find out later on at C Triple G did get a knockdown onto PBS. So far this 3-way fight is kind of in the favor of C Triple G again.
C Triple G kind of holding on to their compound pretty well here, just using the terrain to their advantage, the elevation of the hill just enough to kind of block off the spot to not allow them to get headshot, but give them a little bit of information. And what a shot coming through from Deadpool, and he should be able to snuff out Yogi from this equation as well. Tries to reposition himself. The pressure does not come through from Darren before Momo has to back away. He tries to set up a long flank from the left-hand side. Darren, he gets attacked. Hadi, he pulls out the glue wall just in the nick of time, but the nade behind the glue wall takes him down, and PBS, they take over the situation. C Triple G getting cut down, sliced out of the equation.
Oh, Darren didn't have the health. He went for the reload, but it ended up going down, and C Triple G finally having a game where they are not the team in the lead, where they're not the team in the position of power, and they're getting overrun by PBS. A great opening for PBS in general, considering the fact that they didn't lose a single member. And you can see Momo, he's on the run, but PBS, they smell blood, and they are hot on his trail.
C Triple G, that was, kind of the comment that I made in game number 2 as to how teams that get a little bit confident, that's exactly when they falter. That's That is where C Triple G kind of stood in this particular matchup, right? They were in a position where they saw their kill feed. They knew the kind of teams that were fighting in and around them were not really the top feeders, not really the apex predators of the competition, but merely bottom feeders. And they kind of took advantage of that particular spot. They paid a huge price for it. And now C Triple G, not really in the running for anything flashy up top, and will allow teams like the Pillars as well as Heavy to catch up with them. And it's now in the hands of the Pillars as well as Heavy to perhaps drop the ball.
We have seen C Triple G play the game of survival before, but this one is definitely a bit harder compared to the first the first 3 rounds. Phoenix Force, round 2 and 3 was not the round for them, and right now they are playing in a more defensive stance. They have the Pillars right in front of them. And we see if they will be able to catch any members of the Pillars. So far, it seems like they are within close proximity. The Cruise does get a glimpse of Celt Z, but not able to get much damage done.
Now it is the team of Phoenix Force. In Bhima Sakti strip, they should be all safe, but the question is, will they be waiting for the Pillars to come in and say hello, or will they drop into the compound of the Pillars and take them by surprise, right? And I feel like if they do take this vehicle out of the spot and take the fight towards the Pillars, it's going to be a GG for the side of Phoenix. And now they've got the better hold. They've got the higher vantage point in here. The Pillars, on the other hand, kind of flirting with House of Blood from afar. Those initial shots onto him will not be doing the side of the Pillars a lot of good. And Putra just needs to be super careful with the way he manages the situation. Ian jumps off, and he does have the snipe in hand, going in for the pressure onto Hoya. And he just drives this straight in towards the other players of the side of the Pillars. And this might not end up very well for the side of House of Blood.
Oh my god, they shot at Kai, but he just got down from his vehicle and got a knock. This guy's an absolute madman. Danny now providing some cover fire from afar, as this is an inevitable fight. The Pillars have stirred up the House of Blood, and they might be made to pay for it. Look at Ian, he's driving through everyone, getting on their vehicle. Mimi trying to, Putra trying to flank Mimi, but it seems like it's not working out so far. And Kai will be the first one to get brought down on his feet. And the Pillars, they're coming in from different angles. With Kai taken out, the Pillars can finally go in for the swarm as Ham gonna gun down Mimi. Danny hiding behind his glue wall, but it's only a matter of time before they find him. He's gonna drop another glue wall in between, but there's only so much room to work with. And look at that, Hogo, he was already out. He wasn't even a part of that fight, didn't even want to be a part of it, doesn't want to join his friends in the grave, and that means that the Pillars will get 3 free kills, as House of Blood will only have 1 guy left alive.
This was just an unfortunate situation, right? I mean, House of Blood, they just shouldn't have played it in that way. And they allowed the Pillars to take the kind of situation I did not want Phoenix Force to kind of get caught in moments ago as well. You take the vehicle out, yes, it gives you the mobility, but if you allow your vehicle to explode out there in the open field, you are a sitting duck. That's exactly what they were moments ago. And now we jump on right back to PVS, as a potential fight might break out between them as well as Do Easy, but the Malaysians keeping their heads low, not showing up on the radar of PVS just yet.
So far, this is going to be very crucial for Do Easy to stay put. And it seems like they might be able to just avoid PVS if they don't take any shots. I mean, Baez, he knows that where PVS is, and unfortunately from that angle, it is not a position where Do Easy wants to challenge any team. So PVS, they will get the luxury of touching down on south side of Plantation, where you have the Pillars also nearby as well. Do Easy, unfortunately, the best thing they can do is watch. In fact, PVS, I think probably alerted by the Pillars, as the Pillars did take out one of their vehicles.
Now, the Pillars, are they just going to feed over PVS as well as Do Easy? Because PVS, they are on fire, man. After their performances moments ago, they should be able to bag this against Do Easy, but I do not know if or not they can pull off a similar situation against the Pillars, who have just been so confident within this game. And now with C Triple G out of the way, the Pillars will be able to secure that number 2 spot for them and force C Triple G into a situation where they need to be playing, a situation where they need to bag more than 66 points to fight against SAF. But Heavy on their tails because of that early exit will also kind of put a team like Heavy hot on their heels, right? So let's see. I've got my eyes on to Heavy, whether or not they will be able to get anything done in the next game as well. In this game, they are sitting down outside of the zone. Panda, Fudai, Ban, as well as John. I don't know what the play is just yet, but C Triple G, it's not over for them. Look at that one player outside of the battle zone here, Husky. That survival is, chances are slim, but he might be able to pull it off.
Look at Heavy though, they are also super far away, and this circle is only going to get, well, not as far as I would have liked.
Yeah.
I mean, you can tank, it's just a second circle, it's not too big of a deal. They probably have way enough resources to get through that, and mostly when you play so far away, you will have a vehicle to work with, so that's going to facilitate their rotation. But meanwhile, GPX Esports found themselves Forexman Expert in this corner of the map, and that's going to be two members of Forexman Expert already taken out. Jabat and Spade trying to get away, and Jabat, he is out. They are both going to take the catapult, and wait, can he get the shot? They're trying to shoot him out of the skies, but thankfully for Forexman Expert, they will both survive. Still, GPX Esports get 2 kills out of that.
Yeah, Forexman Expert kind of lucky with Spade's launch there, just getting out in the nick of time. GPX not able to take that kill, but it doesn't really matter because GPX overall in the competition, they seem to be comfortable sitting down at top with the 53 points. And all they want in this round, I'm pretty sure, are those placement points. You get into that final zone, you bag a few kills, potentially the booyah for yourself, and you're super comfortable in that #1 spot. Nobody else going to be able to get the better of you, right? I mean, even that player is the team in that second spot, C Triple G, they seem to be struggling, potentially going to get taken out by the zone. Granted, yes, the second blue zone to tank, but with the way the next safe zone is kind of, positioned in here, Husky, it might be too late for him to get in there.
Yeah, it could be. I think that could be the case. We'll see. If he finds himself a vehicle, then yes, he definitely would be able to do so. I mean, Momo, he's still hanging out there. And of course, for Heavy, as expected, they have some cars. So the late rotation is not going to matter too much, since they will be able to still play around the edges and make it into the circle when they feel the time is right. But for Momo, he's gonna have to start running, and that will be a bit more of a struggle. And in fact, because you are alone, so drawing attention with a vehicle is 10 times riskier than when you have your team with you. The pillars though, Celzi early on was spotted out by Phoenix Force, but was able to get out of danger, and now he's holding down PBS.
Yeah, Celzi, he has a pretty great angle here. Mafia Bala just running out of the zone as for X-Men Expert Spade is going to be a little bit dangerous here. Mafia Bala just trying to pull that full flank over on that right-hand side just to make sure he does not get caught out. But as for the players of PVS, they cannot wish for such a thing. They have to expand their glue walls to get away from Ham. And even if they do, there's no guarantee that they are going to be able to pull away from this guy, right? With that sniper, he should be able to get a lot of damage through those glue walls and make them just waste way more. GPX now, a lot of pressure, Heavy. They need to be careful because this might just be that backstab that they were not looking forward to.
Yeah, and I wonder how this is going to pan out. I mean, you can see that, okay, Momo, he somehow found himself a bike. He's making it into the circle. As GPX, they are trapped between two teams. You have Heavy on one side, you have Phoenix Force on the other. We'll see which poison GPX goes for. The one thing is for sure, they are in the safe zone, and it seems like Heavy, they're already firing at GPX Esports, but majority of GPX Esports are caught in the middle between Heavy and Phoenix Force, so it's a very tough position for them to be in. And Phoenix Force, it feels like they might go for the push, so GPX Esports needs to be ready.
Oh, they are going in for Phoenix. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, DV2 just opening things up first, but they will probably be sustaining a little bit of damage. Justine, he backs up there as well. Justine needs to back away from the situation. Wings needs to catch up with the rest of those players, because if he gets caught outside by Heavy, this is going to be a GG for the side of GPX. Rambo cooking up that nade just to see if or not he can take DV2 out of this equation. Cruz with the pressure as well, and Fudai, he takes those shots against the players from box, who very, very generously lend a hand to this situation, which kind of allows the pillars to play this a little bit better.
Yeah, and for Heavy, they need to flush out Ryuk as soon as possible. And you can see that Reno, he's going to provide that backup. If Ryuk falls, the entire compound is going to be compromised. And Ryuk, yeah, he's dropping low, tries to regen himself, and the glue wall finally got taken down. But thankfully, there's still enough time for him to stay alive. And Ban now finds himself caught in a very bad spot. You see that Iko on the other side does take out iPads with the grenade, as Heavy now will try to wrap around the edges and try to get a better angle onto Box. And of course, they Kim Cho with a huge nade onto Real, and this is go time for Heavy. Can they push in and take out Box Gaming? They have the high ground. They're shooting Box Gaming. Kim Cho was a distraction all along, and Box Gaming now finds themselves on the low ground. Second, they flying through. Real's gonna get blinded by the flashbang, and look at that. Heavy have switched positions with Box Gaming, and now they're in a good position.
Now, will Panda be able to use this glue wall? He backs away to give that a little bit of support towards Kim Chun. But Fudai now getting overcome by two players. The flank from Reno as well as Ryuk. But Fudai backs away. Smart positioning coming through from Fudai to support the rest of his players. And now Rambo, he manages to take down a player from the side of GPX. But Box Gaming alive and kicking Pink down on the ground thanks to a great mind placed by Panda. GPX out of the equation. The ones that are leading the leaderboard. Heavy taken out as well, and it will be the side of the Pillars strong still in this fight. And Box Gaming alive and kicking. This just might be the two teams that move on to that final zone. But look at the champion Momo from C-Triple-G. I was absolutely tricked. I thought C-Triple-G out of the equation. One final survivor Momo. No way he's going to be able to make it through from outside of that zone. Solo play in here. He had to make a lot of noise with the vehicle. But dude, this guy alive and kicking, Husky.
Yeah, what did I tell you? Oh wow. Now that we said it, he's getting shot at by Phoenix Force. So maybe this is as far as he goes. But look at my Putra. Oh my goodness. I mean, the Pillars, they're crashing straight into the compound of Phoenix Force. His team is not there yet, so my Putra, you gotta stay alive as long as he can, and he's gonna get knocked down. There is a nade on Rambo's hands. The crew's now going for the push as well. This might be a fatal mistake for the Pillars. As you can see, Ham is also under fire. Selzy right out in the open. The Cruz, he's going to start coming in from the flank. My Putra dropping down low. You get Mafia Bala from the side of Total Gaming on the other end, watching all of this unfold. Oolong does get a good vision of Ham, but was not able to land those shots. And this is going to be go time. It is crucial for the Pillars to go for this push. They need to get rid of Phoenix Force, but it will not be easy. We have 5 teams there. Look at Momo hiding under the breach. Joanna with a couple of preemptive nades to try and flush out any pushing members, but she's not able to find so. So Phoenix Force dropping down those glue walls, blocking crucial angles, and the circle moves away from all of these guys. So it is basically a battle to the death right now.
Can I just say that C-Triple-G is so freaking lucky with those zones, man. Momo is still there, alive and kicking, and the next zone is going to be moving in towards that guy as well. If they manage to get the booyah, ladies, gentlemen, boys and girls, I am going to lose my mind. But now, with Phoenix Force losing Rainbow already, the one who has managed to bag the most number of kills, are they going to be suffering against the Pillars? Selzy, he is in a position to bring in a lot of pressure now. Joanna pulls out the snipe, but it's not going to be able to hit any of the side of the Pillars players because they are inside. Ham, on the other hand, gets knocked down onto the ground. Momo still alive and kicking under the bridge, and Box Gaming have not been able to find them yet. Instead, Box Gaming, they play third party, and they try to take down the players from the side of Phoenix. Putra knocks down, deletes Cruz as well, and the Pillars, they come in for the push. But Oolong, he manages to get the knock onto Selzy, and that can be the game dinner. And the fight comes in straight in front of his face, pulls out the glue wall, and survives this, takes the fight onto the right-hand side, but finally shut down.
And the Pillars survive to fight another day. And you can see Box Gaming still on top of the bridge. It's gonna be the Pillars. They need to push in. I mean, Momo, he has done more than enough. As Box Gaming will now be under fire from the Pillars. So thankfully for Box Gaming themselves, being on that high ground means that they have that vantage point. But how long can they hold on for? You can see Ham. He's going to carry his teammate, but God gets a good knockdown. Real fight the second, and I think Box Gaming have found the kills necessary. But do they know where Momo is? Oh, Reno, he might go for a check. Putra tanking that blue. He's going to go down. Finally, Momo swings out. Runs straight into Reno, but it's a 3 versus 1. There's no chance for Momo to survive. And Box Gaming finally finds their first booyah. A massive step up from this team.
Indeed, indeed. But let's talk a little bit about Momo. The guy was an absolute legend, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Box Gaming, of course, fighting that Booyah through all of that chaos. It was almost a GG as Momo found them, but luckily they had the numbers. They had the backup. A player just jumped off of that bridge, gave that 2-on-1 situation, that upper hand on the side of Box Gaming. They managed to back it for themselves. But it's just absolutely crazy the way D-Long has managed to, just turn things around for his team. But Momo, the true MVP of the game, if you ask me, Aske.
Yeah, I don't think we expected him to get a booyah, but the fact that he made it to second place, that's good enough for me. But Box Gaming, they had 2 slow rounds to kick off the play-ins, but round 3 and 4 was amazing. They got 12 kills, second place in round 3, and they got a booyah just now. So Box Gaming, they are back in the running, and it feels like everything is coming full circle. They have been competitors through and throughout, but it just took them a while to get to that point.
Yeah, and of course, it was just a matter of time before GPX kind of, is shown to be mortal just like any other survivor out there on the battlefield. They did not get the booyah for themselves. In fact, they did not make it through to that final circle, right? They got taken down a little prematurely in here, but the sandbagging with the kill points as a team like GPX usually does, I want to see if or not that would, keep them in the running for that #1 spot because of what Momo did for himself. C-Triple-G playing the game of survival, man. Crazy stuff coming through. God to the power of 2. Your key player for game #4 with the 4 kills.
I think that definitely is going to keep C-Triple-G in the running. I feel like it's not enough to put them in first place as of yet, but it will give them, it will still keep them, in contention for the grand final slot. Obviously, for Box Gaming, I think with that round, they are now well in proximity of also being one of the teams to qualify. This round has been massive for Box Gaming. Maybe not as much kill as round 3, but at the end of the day, it was just how they managed to read the entirety of the circle that gave them this win.
Yeah, and of course, Box Gaming just impressive all throughout this one particular matchup, but the consistency part that we have been looking for, I guess we will be able to find out if or not they can deliver moving forward, right? Because they have warmed up all of those gears. But in this particular round, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, your top players, Eco with the 6 kills, Ham going ham on those players with the 4, and My Putra picking up the 4 as well in the 3rd spot, Husky.
And this is finally we get to see PVS kind of step up a bit, Eco in particular, because he hasn't been able to do too much in the first 3 rounds, always being the first guy to get taken out, unfortunately. So we finally get to see him in action a bit more, and he straight up puts 6 kills on the board for his team. Very impressive play. Of course, this is what we have for replay, and straight out the bat, C-Triple-G against PVS, a total disaster from the beginning, but Momo made the best out of it.
This was the first team that almost got knocked out. Momo ran away with his tail between his legs to survive. And did he survive? My, oh my, outside of the zone. 2 zones had already elapsed. He still played his time, found a vehicle, made so much of noise, and surprisingly, luck was just on his side. C-Triple-G, I mean, we've been talking about the final zone kind of favoring them in those previous matches. And in this match, the question was, will Momo find the final zone again? And yes, he kind of did, right? But the disappointment for me, personally, was the House of Blood fight, which didn't really meet expectations.
Oh, absolutely. I think that was kind of a wash. But this one, Box Gaming against Heavy. We talk about how Heavy was switched position with Box at one point, right? And they have the high ground, but Box Gaming pulled through all of that. They did lose 1 member, but at the end of the day, it didn't really matter. The fact that they were able to get through Heavy and make it into the final circle was more than enough to give them the win. Had they been eliminated by Heavy, we will be looking at a completely different result.
Yeah, and if only Momo had just played his time a little bit better, just been a little bit more patient. I guess he did spot that one player there, got a little excited, but that was just a little bit too premature, right? A couple of seconds more in there. If he had just tanked a little bit of the damage from the blue zone, perhaps he might have been able to do something different, but it doesn't matter. Overall, CGG managing to bag 9 points overall because of his play. But of course, the ones at the very top, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, not Box Gaming, not the ones who managed to secure the booyah for themselves, but the ones who managed to sandbag themselves with all of those kill points. The Pillars, with the 20 on board now, they are eyeing that number 1 spot.
Yeah, and before round number 4, the Pillars were sitting in 3rd place. This 20 points is going to give them a massive boost up the leaderboard. Box Gaming as well. Before this, they were sitting at a mere 19 points because of the abysmal first 2 rounds. But you give them 19 more points and you can definitely expect Box Gaming to be in a very comfortable spot. PVS as well, making it up there, but just a massive attention given over to CGG, who's now dropped out of top 2. They're in 3rd place, and the Pillars, they've officially taken over. The lead that GPX Esports got for themselves in the first 2 rounds, sure, 2 booyah to kick off the day, was a huge freight train of momentum, but they were not able to keep their foot on the accelerator, and the other teams were able to slam the brakes on them.
You know, we both knew that Indonesia was going to be dominant in this competition. We both knew that, you know, the Indonesian region itself has got a lot of crazy good talent, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. But who would have thought the 3rd and 4th seed for the Indonesian side to be sitting down at the very top of this leaderboards, right? 61-57 overall, and it does not look like they want to slow down with this particular pace that they've started in this competition, Husky. And, you know, with how all of the other teams are doing, with Box Gaming and their final rise of supremacy in this previous round, I kind of still think that there's hope left for them, along with teams like Heavy, but they need to find that round in them for after this.
Yeah, and now the top 2 teams are both from Indonesia. The 4th and the 5th, the 3rd and the 4th seed from Indonesia are now leading top 2. Obviously, 3rd place is CGG. The 5th seed from Thailand. This is still very doable, even if the 3rd place team didn't. Even if the team ends up in 3rd place, as long as they break the threshold, they will still qualify in means of standings, 3rd place standings. So that is something that I think any team in Group B right now, if they can make it to top 2, aim for that 66-point threshold, and they will be able to qualify. But we have 2 more rounds left. 2 final rounds, 1 in Kalahari, 1 in Purgatory, before we find out who will be joining the other 9 teams in the grand finals.
Yeah, I'm just curious if or not we will be able to see more flashy stuff out of CGG. And if we do, that puts us in a crazy predicament, because we want to see SAF in FFAC as well. But the kind of competition within the Group B, within Playins day number 2, is just too crazy. All of these brands kind of stealing our hearts as well. But who will be able to reach up to the top, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls? A quick short break. When we come back, we will see that decision.
This November, we are very excited to announce a tournament dedicated solely to the Asia region. Free Fire Asia Championship, featuring professional local teams across Asia. A total of 31 top pro teams from 7 regional leagues will be competing to determine who is the best in Asia. Vietnam, Thailand, and Indonesia will each claim 5 spots in this competition, while India, Pakistan, Chinese Taipei, and the Malaysia, Cambodia, Philippines region each gets 4 slots. Free Fire Asia Championship will be held fully online in Battle Royale mode with 2 phases, Play-ins and the Grand Finals. 7 local champions move directly onto the Grand Finals, and the rest will battle it out during Play-ins for the 5 remaining spots. For Play-ins, 24 teams will be split into 2 groups, A and B, based on the drawing results. Each group will have at least 1 and a maximum of 2 teams from each regional league. Group A matches will be held on November 20th, and Group B will have their matches on November 21st. Teams will be competing over 6 rounds across 3 maps, Bermuda, Purgatory, and Kalahari. first and second seed from groups A and B will advance to the final stage. The last slot will be awarded to the third place team from either Group A or Group B, based on which team has accumulated more points in the play-ins. The finals will take place on November 28th, where the 5 teams from Playins will then battle against the 7 local champions for the title of the best Free Fire squad in Asia. 12 finalists will compete together for 7 rounds in 3 available maps, with the last map being randomly picked. Stay tuned to our YouTube channels for the latest news, and we'll see you soon.
Menurut gua yang terbaik di grup B sih Prizepool, karena performanya kemarin naik banget dan kemarin juga dia dapet juara 1 di FFAS.
Evo's Thái là đội tuyển nhiều ngôi sao, giàu kinh nghiệm và họ là đương kim vô địch thế giới.
मेरे ख्याल से Evo's Phoenix की फिक्र होगी हमें हमारे ग्रुप में, इस वजह से कि वो एक वर्ल्ड क्लास टीम है। उन्होंने वर्ल्ड सीरीज में 4 बुया से अपनी कंट्री को रिप्रेजेंट किया, जीते वो, तो इस लिहाज से वो उनके लिए यहाँ पर इतनी मुश्किल नहीं होगी। वो भी यहाँ पर भी इसी तरह अगर डोमिनेट करते हैं तो हमारे लिए फिर मुश्किल होगी वहाँ पर बुया निकालना।
Menurut gua tim yang harus diwaspadai semua tim ya, tapi lebih ke arah EVOS Thailand ya, karena dia kemarin kuat di liga.
รู้สึกดีนะครับ เพราะว่าขาดอยู่แชมป์เดียวเลยก็คือแชมป์เอเชีย แชมป์โปรลีกก็ได้แล้วครับ แชมป์โลกก็ได้แล้วขาดอยู่แชมป์เดียว แชมป์เอเชีย
ทีมไทยจะเข้ารอบทุกทีมครับ เพราะว่าดูจากแผนการเล่นฟอร์มต่างๆผลงานดีมากๆครับ
ก็ธรรมดาครับ Thailand มัน number one.
Pendapat gue tentang Thailand yang dapat 5 slot di FFAC, menurut gue wajar, soalnya sebelumnya juga tim dari Thailand kan menang di World Series, ya jadi wajar dia dapat 5 slot.
Thái Lan rất mạnh, nhưng đừng quên sức mạnh của Indo và đặc biệt là Việt Nam.
This time no, because Indian team have to dominate in that fight.
5 đội á, ảo game mà. Không được.
Việt Nam rất mạnh, nên tất cả các đội đến từ Việt Nam sẽ có mặt tại chung kết.
Menurut gua semua tim Indonesia bisa lolos karena gue jago. 3 đội tuyển Việt Nam từ vòng Playins vào chung kết đó là Gao, Bốc và Heavy.
Fanta thì nó sẽ cần phải nhiều thứ hơn, sẽ cần phải đòi hỏi nhiều thứ hơn về kỹ năng cá nhân của anh chàng này. Fanta có một góc cuốn làm tay cờ dành cho mảnh bắn. Anh chàng này được đến với vị trí là khô lờ mọi người. Mảnh là tốt, Fanta nổi được một mảnh tay cờ mảnh bắn. Mảnh đang có được 100 bóng mảnh lan trước.
ग्रुप बी में मेरे ख्याल से स्ट्रॉन्ग कंटेंडर्स में Evo's Phoenix, बॉक्स गेमिंग और हैवी आती हैं। Evo's Phoenix जो है वो इस वजह से कि वो वैसे ही वर्ल्ड डिफेंडिंग चैंपियन है। इसके अलावा टीम हैवी का हमने बीबूए में उनके अगेंस्ट खेला था, उनको उनकी स्ट्रेटजी और यूनिक प्ले स्टाइल बहुत पसंद आई थी हमें, वो स्ट्रॉन्ग थी और वो
of the Playins, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, for the Free Fire Asia Championship. We are here to find out the final 3 teams for the competition, and so far it looks like the Pillars, GPX, as well as CGGG want to book their slot in the FFAC. But 2 more rounds in here can change anything as the drama just gets even crazier. My name's AJ, I'm the Mustachio, down here with the one and only Husky to bring you guys all of the hottest action, and so far the action has been non-stop. Husky, the teams that try to break away are not in the clear just yet. Teams like Box as well as Heavy, they've been on a constant improvement as they try to catch up.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it is about time we address the elephant in the room. Phoenix Force, ex-world champions, local champions. The only title that they're missing is an Asia champion. The Asian, thrown in the Asia region. And all of the players from all across the entirety of the Asia region alone say that Phoenix Force is going to make it. Phoenix Force is a team to watch out for because they have superstars. They won the World Series with 4 booyahs, 4 out of 6 rounds in a super dominant fashion. And that was on the world stage. But right now, Phoenix Force might not even make it. And they're currently in 5th place after round number 4. I think that position kind of dropped even more. So Phoenix Force, they only have 2 more rounds to attempt to squeeze into the grand finals, but it is looking very slim.
Yeah, that kind of gives credit to our conversation at the start of the show as well, where we kind of talked about the role of luck. We kind of talked about the role of the gods of RNG in a battle royale format of a game. And if anything, Free Fire just has been that sort of a game that can drag in so much of drama and controversy because of how one team can do so well one round and do absolutely abysmally in that second round, which is why the performance out of GPX has been nothing short of impressive. And now if GPX, they were impressive, what can we say about Momo as well as CGGG? Because Momo single-handedly is keeping CGGG hot in the fight for that number 3 spot, right? I'm not saying that they will not be, in that running at all without Momo's tremendous play in that previous round, because Box Gaming to a certain degree still have not really caught up just yet. But those very, very important points, I believe, a total of 7 points he picked up for himself. Very, very important, Husky.
Yeah, and you look at the league for Thailand, right? You look at the Pro League for Thailand for season 5. The group stage, it was EVO's Phoenix, or right now Phoenix Force, who kind of they dominated the entire group stage with, I think, 591 points in total. Just slightly short of the record, for MCP. But in the grand finals, they end up in 2nd. So it really shows a lot about this team, right? There's a reason why they have so many titles under their belt. But right now, going into round number 5, you can clearly see that Phoenix Force are sitting in 6th place with only 31 points. And the gap between 31 and 55 is 1 full round. And who is in the 3rd spot? CGGG, a team that has shown consistency through and throughout the first 4 rounds that we have. So Phoenix Force, if we want to see the ex-world champions, the current world champions, in the grand finals, this is the round that they cannot miss out on.
Yeah, but the question is, are they going to be able to do anything in here? Because it will take a lot out of them. They literally need 30 points, or at the very least 25 points on top of whatever teams like CGGG or GPX or even potentially the Pillars can bag here for themselves. And of course, we will switch on our attention to the House of Blood, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. And in this particular day, it truly has been a very, very bloody house. And it was their house full of blood, with their own blood, unfortunately, spilled by them. They haven't really been able to make much of a play. 17 points overall in the 4 rounds. I wasn't really expecting out of the Indians.
Yeah, I think for House of Blood, they definitely showed some great performance, but obviously in a lot of situations they were not winning those fights. And just a minor correction: House of Blood actually is from Pakistan. AJ. Can't mess that up. But yeah, I think the grand scheme of things for House of Blood is just that we saw them take on some of those pushes and it didn't really work out, right? And the one against CGGG was a really good case study of how House of Blood couldn't get their bearings right. But Phoenix Force now staring down the barrel against the one and only GPX, and taking out GPX is gonna be massive for them. because this is gonna set GPX back. Oh, by the same time, look at where GPX is. Box Gaming is behind. So it's gonna be Box Gaming taking the kill after all of that effort, but at least D-Long was able to get Justin in return. So GPX's run might be cut short very soon, and Box Gaming, they're looking to also solidify their position in this group stage.
Yeah, the trifecta of Titan squads in here, ladies, German boys and girls. But with the points itself, perhaps Phoenix Force might not be a Titan so far within the day. But let that not trick you, because just when they are underestimated might just be the moment where they overcome all of the other challenges. And now we will be jumping on over to Total Gaming as they take the fight up against the original players who want to move on upstairs. That compound taken over, but very slowly being broken down. Purely with just 3 players. I feel like Total Gaming are being a little bit too aggressive here.
But I think that they definitely are just trying to scope out the members of original player. And Zhang, he just runs straight into the building, but he was able to downforce CRJ at least. And you can see Mafia with a good sneak attack, take down Angu, and it's going to be original players losing out. This 3 versus 3 in favor of Total Gaming. And once more, this team from Chinese Taipei was not able to put any numbers on the board.
Total Gaming turned that situation around way too quickly, ladies, German boys and girls. What a way to stand their ground. But now, are we going to be able to see Phoenix Force get the exact same thing done? Because Box Gaming, they are coming for their heads, and it does not feel like it's going to be very easy. We do see the drone up top giving all of that information back over to them, and Reno sends those initial shots in. Are we going to be able to see Phoenix Force make their way out of this? If they do, perhaps that the dream might still be alive for them, Husky.
And Box Gaming are here for revenge once more, and the nade from Reno catches D-Long, and Phoenix Force, they were not even prepared to take on this fight. You can see that when Box Gaming went for the push, Phoenix Force were way too separated from one another, and this is a very interesting view that we have right now, because Box Gaming, they identify where the members of Phoenix Force are, and they're keeping them pinned down with their individual members. The amount of confidence exhuming from Box Gaming is unbelievable, and rightfully so, because they are just about to knock out our current world champions from the FFAC with that one knockout. Phoenix Force completely backs off with 3 members left alive, but Box Gaming will be able to take control of this compound.
Cruz as well as Rainbow not wanting to take that fight at all. Joanna has just gone in there for a little bit too far of a flank towards that right-hand side, just in case the rest of the players get overwhelmed. Smart plays coming through from the side of Phoenix Force, even as they back away from this compound. They try to set up a good spot for themselves. But we switch on our attention over to PVS, and I believe we also had a quick eye on a couple of players from the side of Pillars. Pillars, I believe, backing away from this situation, not wanting to fight PVS. I wonder what happened there as Putra gets knocked down onto the ground. I guess that's exactly what's happening over there. Ian does manage to respond, and that sort of a response will just be able to buy them a little bit more time. But Ian, can he now traverse over towards Putra and save this guy? The answer is no. Putra gets put out of commission. PVS, they have got the height, they have got the vantage point in here, and it looks like the Pillars will suffer. Those that lead the leaderboard, they might just go down.
And with Ian down, there is almost no chance for the Pillars to back a monstrous amount of points, at least in this round. They're not out of the game just yet, but they're left with Ham. And I felt it was pretty weird that the Pillars took on that fight with their team so far apart. Ham was on the completely opposite side. So I wonder what was the situation before the skirmish started. And nonetheless, for PVS, this is definitely a sigh of relief. They aren't in the best position in the groupings in the leaderboard right now, but with those couple of kills, maybe, just maybe, they will have a chance.
Oh yeah, absolutely right. I mean, PVS, even in the previous round, they have already stepped it up, and I'm glad to see that consistency coming out from them. And if Eco can continuously bag more kills in this particular round, and PVS continue that run that they are having in this competition, I have no doubts whatsoever of this team continuously moving up the leaderboard, right? And the Indians, most very well known for their mechanical supremacy when it comes to mobile gaming, the second seeded in Indian team in the competition most definitely will be able to deliver on that promise. But as we take a quick look at the team Phoenix Force, they haven't really been able to hit the mark so far. They are literally 1 point above PVS, and I believe this game they might be struggling a little bit more as well, because D-Long getting taken down early on, he's been the titan for their side. Rambo, yes, he's been able to deliver as well, but we've been able to see how D-Long goes in for that support every single time. Joanna kind of takes those long snipes, and without him, they most definitely will be having a tough time out there in this round.
Yeah, and I think, you know, sure, losing D-Long was not what they wanted, but at least they have 2 kills under their belt, right? D-Long was still able to contribute 2 points before he went down. So not all is lost. They made the best out of that scenario in a sense, but we also saw how they were completely out of position when Box Gaming went for the push. So it's understandable to see Phoenix Force kind of back off, especially when their literal slot to qualify is on the line in this round 5.
Yeah, smart plays coming through from Heavy now, just leaving the vehicle right outside of the zone, not wanting to push in, not wanting to make way too much of noise, but at the same time keeping the car nearby just in case they need to go in there for that very, very late rotation. And Heavy, they will be able to play this safe for the time being. Phoenix Force, on the other hand, without D-Long on their side, they don't really need to worry for the time being, because their coast seems to be clear as well as they try to secure a good compound for themselves in the next circle, Husky.
This is going to be a slower approach. Of course, you have Total Gaming Delete. He is going to be the one to intercept Phoenix Force if they continue to move on forward, and it seems like that might be the case. You know, I mean, Delete, he is retreating to join the rest of his team, but there's enough information if they caught a glimpse of Phoenix Force. On the other side, though, you have Forestman Expert alongside Box Gaming, and particularly Box Gaming, who really showed up in the past 2 rounds and now are looking to solidify themselves in that at least that top 3 spot. PVS, they will now have to face off against Heavy.
Now, PVS, they've already done so well in the competition. And can they take a fight up against Heavy, who've also been kind of getting their stride, right? They warmed up pretty well. They've gotten their gear into heavy mode now, and they're going in here for the push. But PVS, after the tremendous rise to supremacy by Eco from up top, he does have the range on the gun, and Kim Chun might be paying a high price. If he finds the hit glitch onto Kim Chun, it would be a very, very unfortunate situation on the side of Heavy.
Oh yeah, and I think for the side of Kim Chun, he does able to get a couple of shots onto Eco, who is ducking in between those glue walls. Able to heal himself back out. Unfortunately, the firepower is not enough, but Eco is backtracking, throws down, still gets knocked by Fudai from a separate angle. So that's most likely going to be him being the sacrificial lamb on the side of PVS.
And PVS couldn't even go in there for that backup, and I believe he ran out of glue walls, couldn't even pull it out for himself, just kept switching back and forth between the 2 he already had out. Yogi now setting up a trip mine on his side, just in case they get overwhelmed by the side of Heavy. On the side for PVS Yogi, he will be able to hold down his fort first. He needs to wait for Shiv as well as Rohit to catch up with him. But Heavy, they're not going to be making this very easy for them. And now with the danger zone out of nowhere, thoughts of RNG not on the side of PVS.
Yeah, 100% not. I mean, this circle is a bit more tricky to deal with. House of Blood in the center with C-Triple-G towards the southern side, a bit towards the southern side. See that this is going to force a lot of teams to start rotating. Box Gaming doing that. Forestman Expert will have to move as well. You don't want to get stuck on the northern island. You can say the same for the side of a Total Gaming, who are also making a move. In fact, Yogi just stepped on the landmine of Kim Chun. He just steps on a landmine planted by Yogi. Well, I guess there's something for PVS, but Panda should be able to bring him back up.
Yeah, I mean, those are the kind of smart plays we expect out of PVS, right? They saw Heavy out there, a high probability for them to get overrun, and they've been playing this passively ever since they kind of didn't really bag much in that previous fight. And it seems to have turned out quite well for them, but now with that one final player, it doesn't seem to be gonna ending well. Spade, though, final player on the side for 4. X-Men Expert takes the backstab against his opponent, but Delete literally does that against him, deletes him out of the equation. All of those skills, close quarters combat with the shotgun, truly the effective weapon.
Yeah, and those close quarter combats really working out in favor. And of course, Ban with a nice nade is gonna take out Yogi, and that's gonna be the end of PVS, if I'm not mistaken. Heavy able to hold on for now. You can see that Box Gaming finally making their appearance, and the first contender is gonna be Total Gaming, who are completely trapped in that house.
Oh, I was just about to say that Ham is surviving in the exact same way, like Momo, but the guy just literally gets taken down as you end your sentence. Unfortunately, the pillars will not be able to make their way through in here. Taken out in that 9th spot, does barely give them any sort of placement point, so they'll have to depend on the kills that they've managed to bag so far. C-Triple-G, on the other hand, flirting with the edge of the safe zone, but the kind of plays that they will be able to execute from this sort of a position is mainly with the fight that they will be able to take against Phoenix Force and potentially against Heavy as well if they flank from that right-hand side, which does put them in a great position to pick the Booyah up this time round. But it looks like House of Blood will be turned into that once again as Box Gaming comes in straight for that fight.
Oh my goodness, the rush from Boss Gaming is insane. They do lose 2 other members, but look at this Pink with a good flick is able to keep everyone alive, and they in fact wiped out House of Blood. They do lose Reno. And that's pretty much it. Oh, the mine from Hogo. You cheeky little devil. Was able to get Rilk out of the equation as well, but thankfully the members from Boss Gaming are still alive. 2 of them are still alive. Meanwhile, Joanna getting pushed as well. This is gonna be pretty deadly as C-Triple-G goes off for the fight. Heavy on the other side. GPX wings, trying to cross the bridge, and you have Do Easy hiding behind a couple of rocks, maybe trying to get some decent pick-off as Deadpool was able to take out one of the members from Heavy as C-Triple-G now prepares for an inevitable push.
Now Hadi needs to get himself topped up in the terms of his health. If not, it's going to be a very sticky situation. Oh, here comes the rush! Here comes the rush out of 3 Triple G! And Rambo gets shut down. Bye-bye, Phoenix Force, says Triple G. See Triple G as they now wait to take Heavy out of the equation as well. But just behind them, Total Gaming, they are waiting to see exactly who will step out of this fight. Heavy closing down all of those positions with the glue wall, keeping an eye on to see Triple G throughout all of those moves. Both of those teams outside of the next zone, and this one nade might be able to do all of them in.
And this is going to be really crucial. Panda might just land the nade of his life. He's going to throw out 2 of them as C-Triple-G, they're going to evacuate immediately. Not wanting to get caught in that explosion. Ban was able to get clear sight, but not able to land those shots. And now C-Triple-G, with that pushing out due to the blue zone, this is going to be crunch time for the members of Heavy as well as C-Triple-G. Can they hang on? Because the guards already got an initial nade onto one of the members of Heavy, and that's going to allow Box Gaming to continue moving. Guards again takes out, gets another nade, I believe, onto Hedy. So C-Triple-G, they're making a lot of progress now. Do Easy finally enters the picture. You have Waze caught behind that blue wall on the bridge as well. Total Gaming on the low ground. This is a complete bloodbath. An open area for a battlefield for this last phase. As C-Triple-G under heavy fire, thanks to Heavy Gaming, who refuses to let them go. Wings finally goes down to Do Easy, as the lead will be trapped behind the tree. Heavy left with 3 members, and this is going to be crunch time. Final circle is going to happen in 5 seconds, and the blue zone closing in. These guys will have to fight until the very last breath.
Yeah, C-Triple-G looks like they still are holding on to one of the best positions, but now with the blue zone coming in for the close, everybody needs to be on a hustle, and Fudai pays attention towards the lead, and Total Gaming will most definitely get knocked down, but Shah, that nade gets planted right on him, and Do Easy won't be able to run out of this. C-Triple-G, Darren, he goes in for the shutdown. Do Easy take it out. Heavy, they are eliminated as well. C-Triple-G, they get the booyah!
Unbelievable! C-Triple-G makes it towards the very end, but I want to give a quick shout out to Do Easy. They ruined Box Gaming's chance of contesting the Booyah against C-Triple-G. Baez threw his life, but he flanked Box Gaming from behind, used the grenade launcher at point blank. He blew himself up, but he also took out the remnants of Box Gaming. And sure, Do Easy didn't get much out of it, but they definitely put the brakes on Box Gaming and see Triple G once more a consistent performance. It felt like there was no game that C Triple G didn't make it. First round, second place. Second round, second place. Round 3 was their worst, and their worst was actually 4th place. Even round 4 with Momo left alive, he was able to get the 2nd place, and now they finally earned their booyah, and at a very crucial timing in this play-ins as well. They might have just locked in that very first spot into the finals.
Yeah, I guess it was already decided in the previous round, but, you know, I just didn't want to say it just yet, right? It looks like SAF just might not have a seeding in the FFAC because of how Group B is just built, right? Crazy stuff coming out of all of these teams, and C Triple G is managing to prove themselves yet again within the competition. We've been looking for the consistency. It's not the consistency just purely out of the booyahs. It's just the consistency of them picking up consistent points all throughout the competition, just like what C Triple G has been able to bag for themselves in here. And look, they fell back pretty far, man, with this win though. Are they going to be able to clinch that #1 spot, Husky? That's the biggest question, because that just pushes GPX down even further.
Yeah, I think they might be able to do it, right? Because again, you look at the standings. They have the most consistent. They aren't the team with the most kills. In fact, their most kills was 9. But let's take a look at the key player for round number 5. It's Darren, of course, with 5 kills. And yeah, game 1 they got like 9 kills, and that was the most. Second place 9 kills. Round 2, second place 6 kills. Round 3 they get 4th place, but they still got 6 kills. And round 4 they walk away with no kills, but they got 2nd place regardless. So all these placement points adding up, giving C Triple G, you know, that continuous lifeline to be in the competition. And now they finally bag a booyah. You can say that the stars are really aligning for this team. I wouldn't be surprised if they end up in 1st place by the end of round number 5 when we tabulate the score.
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. I mean, because they are really not too far away from that #1 spot, right? A mere 6 points sits between C Triple G as well as the Pillars. And the biggest question here is, did the Pillars manage to bag a few points for themselves just to get away a little bit? Mafia bagging the kill leader MVP this time round with the 6 on his side, just beating Darren out a little bit with that 1 kill, and got to the power of 2. Those highlight kills for me that came out of this guy were those grenades towards that final circle, Husky.
Yeah, and he was doing all so well until Bias decided to take them all to the grave with him with that 1 grenade launcher. But nonetheless, I think for Box Gaming, it was the first 2 rounds where they got out to a slow start. They put them in a very vulnerable position to not qualify. But there's still 1 round to go, and I think perhaps Box Gaming can still have that chance to make it through. But the competition will be tight though, because we're looking at the Pillars and GPX just barely getting knocked down by Triple G. So the points to overtake them is still pretty massive.
Yeah. I think it might just be a little bit too late for Box Gaming to play catch up in here, unless the next game they really pop off, right? And when I say pop off, they get a booyah for themselves, and they secure a minimum of 10 kills or so to stand a chance whatsoever to manage to sneak into the 3rd spot. Because what the Pillars, GPX, as well as C Triple G have brought into the competition that Box Gaming has not been able to is that consistency round after round after round. Yes, GPX kind of got taken down here. They didn't get the booyah, but it wasn't really in the 12th spot or whatsoever. And on that point, ladies, gentlemen, boys and girls, C Triple G with the 19 points and the booyah sits down at the top of the standings. But this is just purely for game number 5. The overall standings is what Husky and I are more interested in.
Yeah, and at the same time, the reason that this is a group of death is also because you look at Group A, the 2 teams that qualify, HQ Esports and Synergy. HQ has 101 points by the end of the 6 rounds. Synergy had 93 points. And between that and SAF has only at 66. But you look at Group B right now, by the end of round 4, it's 61, 57, 55. The competition is that much tighter. So, for Group A, you can say that there's a clear dominant team, but right now, I don't think we have that just yet. Maybe teams like C Triple G is in the lead, but things are still not set in stone just yet. They are now with 74 points, 1st place, followed by GPX Esports and the Pillars. So the top 3 didn't really shift. Maybe the standings, but the team list is still the same.
Yeah, so here you go. Box Gaming, they literally need to get about 20 points. If they can bag the booyah for themselves and get about 10 kills in the next game, then securing the third spot is not going to be too wild of an idea, right? Because the Pillars, yes, they've been doing all right. Yes, they've been doing great. But the performance that's coming through consistently in here for Box Gaming just gives me that extra bit of confidence in them. Heavy in that exact same situation. Total Gaming not too far away from the points. Any one of these three teams, if they can show us a hell of a match in the next round, they might be able to keep this alive for themselves, all providing the Pillars do not perform. So Pillars getting taken out in that 12th position. Let's see exactly how viable that is, Husky.
But I think it's also I think the right moment for us to break some bad news to the Thai fans. At Phoenix Force, they will not be able to get enough points to make it through. So we won't be seeing our current world champions even qualifying for the finals of FFAC. Definitely a slightly underwhelming performance today. They came in with high hopes. I think everyone gave a lot of respect to Phoenix Force. But respect is also given when the teams take on Phoenix Force head on and they just won. So today is not their day, and with that, I think that's kind of the final nail in the coffin. They were not able to get a miracle performance on round 5, so they won't have enough points to even make it through.
Which is what just purely shocks me when, we see this consistency that we look for in these teams, right? Because it's not easy, man. You go out there round after round to provide that consistency that we casters look for or the audience looks for. It's not easy at all. I mean, any one of the Free Fire players out there, can you guarantee wins for yourself, booyahs for yourself, round after round after round? It's just a mere impossible situation, which is what just absolutely shocks me when GPX goes out there. They bag the double for themselves. When teams like CGGG can remain consistent round after round against these top dogs out there in the competition, it just excites me even further. Now, Husky, as we jump on in towards Purgatory, this is going to be the final showdown. Flight path cutting through the center of Central as well as Golf Force, all the way down towards Fields as well as Moat House. Let's see if or not teams like Box Gaming as well as Heavy will be able to make it up to the top.
And this is going to be crunch time. I mean, Box Gaming came so close, but they still need a lot of points, like I said, a minimum of 20 points, and that requires teams like a GPX and the Pillars to get knocked out early on, which is honestly a very tall order. But we do have Do Easy dropping a Central, and you have original player at Fire Brigade. Box Gaming starting off at Mount Villa, so a very isolated spots around the map. CGGG near campsite alongside House of Blood. And I want to see where GPX is going to be. So they will be on the southeastern side of Fields, as Total Gaming will be the team that is really spread out throughout the center part of the map.
Oh yeah, but the Pillars now just dropping in directly above the heads of a couple of players I do not think they want to take on, because Heavy, they've been on quite the roll. The Pillars, on the other hand, they are trying to not lose their position against Heavy. So taking down Heavy from this equation might just give them a little bit more of a leeway, a little bit more of breathing space in this particular competition. Let's see if that can happen for them, because Putra is in a great spot, but he needs a little bit of backup.
And backup will be coming in the form of South Z. Heavy might take this fight, and look at this wings! Oh, from afar! Was able to take out Mafia Bala off screen, and by Putra also getting hit as well. Thanks to Pudai, who also was able to make it there in time. The question is, does the Pillars have vision of the members of Heavy? They might know where Heavy is, but they won't be able to see them. Putra, he's slowly pushing forward. I'm not sure if that's going to work out. Pudai goes for the swing around the corner. That's the first dog down. Pudai just get the reload, wants to run away, but unfortunately there's too many bullets on his tail. Bana's going to come and drop the time turner, but it's going to be a counter time turner from the side of Ham as well to keep himself safe. Meanwhile, Kim Chon has taken out Ham from afar. So there's a flank. Panda finds Putra from behind, and this might be the end of Total Gaming, as they are getting absolutely sandwiched. The Pillars, as they're getting sandwiched by Heavy. And unfortunately, I think they've lost 3 members.
Now, the pillars, if the pillars get taken down early, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, this will be one of the biggest upsets because you'll be looking for GPX as well as C-Triple-G to continuously move in up to the top. And the pillars, they might just lose their standing for the running of their top three. And for teams like Box Gaming or Heavy to catch up to them, not going to be that much of a challenge anymore. And as we speak about GPX, we find them on our screen. Question is, who is in or near their spot? PVS taking the fight up against Do Easy. This might just be the perfect opportunity for PVS to continuously rise up the leaderboard because Do Easy, they've not really been performing in the competition so far, Husky.
And this is it's definitely, you know, a rough position to be in. I think if you are the pillars, right? I mean, sure, they have decent lead in terms of points, but you know, if you get knocked out right now, you might get overtaken. And they're trying to contest this with GPX and Box Gaming. You see the original player found out by C-Triple-G, and Zhang, he is very, very far away from the rest of his team. So that's most likely going to be a takedown as C-Triple-G. Look at Darren. He is on the far west side. He's trying to look for Angu as Hadi will be providing suppressing fire onto end. Yobo does get a good knock with that nade onto Momo. You can see if Deadpool will be able to keep Momo alive or at least get an exchange. It was a tactical want to keep himself protected as Momo tries to call the safety. Momo does kill off Jang, and Yobo with the initial nade just now will trade Momo back. So it's a 1-for-1 so far. Original player taking the fight straight to C-Triple-G. And look at where Yobo is. He is now trying to go towards Hades.
Original, they are literally playing one of the biggest roles in here, original player, because if they do manage to take down C-Triple-G or perhaps just hurt them just as much as the pillars have been hurt in the competition so far, they're just opening up that possibility for Box Gaming as well as Heavy even further. C-Triple-G, oh, what a nade by Deadpool onto Yoba, knocks him down onto the ground, takes a shot against his friend across the street as well, and now a little bit hurt. Darren might be able to turn things around against him. Hardy just literally running straight to its end to take that shot up. And Deadpool as well as Hardy, two players against one. And original player, they just turn into food for C-Triple-G as they continue their plight in this competition.
And original player, unfortunately, not able to win out the scuffle. As you can see, Angu, he's running away, but he might run straight into PVS as Do Easy, they will be by the fishing hut, but PVS knows exactly where Do Easy is located. So this is going to be kind of dead end for Do Easy. They kind of have to fight their way out. And for PVS, sure, they're keeping Do Easy in check, but they're also out in the open, and this is why Eco is driving his buddy straight into the fishing hut. They're about to go for the push. Eco under fire. Yogi propping out the nade as well with the glue wall protecting him. Both nades go wide. Jemba also has his to return as Eco's once gonna attack. Yogi does get brought down though by Bayet. We'll see if Do Easy will kind of press the issue a bit more as Eco is gonna be hiding underneath the fishing hut. Yogi is already out of the equation as PVS. They will not be able to break through the defenses of Do Easy in the initial push.
Yeah, one mistake coming through and Do Easy immediately going there for the punish. And I potentially think that Eco might have been spotted out here already. Jembal, he does have that information on him. And yet that's what happens when you drive the tuk-tuk straight up in front, right? You give that information away. A little bit too much of information, a little bit too much of noise. Bayets now knocks down Eco and PVS, they will suffer. An original player, Angu, onto the left-hand side, might be able to steal a couple of kills off of him.
And I wonder if Angu would take his shots. The fact that he is so far not spotted out just yet, but you know, with that on that note, I feel like he also has no idea how many hostile players are nearby. Angu is gonna be hiding in that house. Do Easy, they're pushing forward very aggressively as Shift and Rohit. They ran in different directions.
Yeah, smart plays coming through from PVS, right? They immediately go in for the split, allowing Do Easy to take a pick. Do you want to go in for the player on the left or right? The bigger question is, do you want to split and come in here and search and look for these cheap kills on us? Do Easy says, no, we don't want any of that. But, you know, let's get a little bit serious here. Even if Do Easy gives it their all in this particular round, what really is their chances of making it through? Nothing much in here. They are just playing for glory, just to impress us a little bit. Let's see exactly what they can continue to pull off in this particular matchup. I will be truly shocked if they can reach that final zone based on the performance in this day here today, because they really haven't been showing up that much, Husky.
And that's the duality, the polarizing, personality of Do Easy, right? When they have a breakout day, they absolutely crush it. But on other days, this is kind of the Do Easy that we always get. Of course, not to say that they aren't a good team, but in comparison to all the other squads that we have in Group B, Do Easy were just got outclassed in most of these situations, whether it's gunfights or rotations. It felt like after the first 2 to 3 rounds, Do Easy kind of lost that mojo of playing without fear. They were constantly trying to trying to avoid conflict, and when there's fights, they were not able to win those. But of course, just a reminder to you guys. Well, not really a reminder, but a announcement. Free Fire has just won the Esports Mobile Game of the Year, and the best part is that it's not even our first year. We win this last year. We won it as well. It's a twofer for Free Fire, and we only have all of you guys to thank for making this happen. What a big day! And this is also why I woke up as a happy man, because I woke up to that news.
Absolutely, man. I mean, it is all because of the survivors out there, the audience, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. You guys made this happen, right? And to each and every single one of these pro players out there on the battlefield, duking it out, they are the ones who have truly been holding the whole structure, the esports scene of Free Fire in their hands, and really just shaking things up with all of their performance. But of course, not all of the brands will be able to reign at the top for long, as we have seen within the side of Phoenix Force. They've truly been struggling within this competition, driving around, just beating one team after the other. They know that their run within the competition, perhaps to make it through the FFAC, is not viable anymore.
Definitely not within grasp, not when this is not when they were not able to put on the numbers early on, and right now it's just way too late. Maybe Joanna is gonna try. The car is on fire. He's driving straight into the members of Box Gaming, and I mean, Joanna, what do you expect out of that?
Oh my goodness.
The Phoenix Force losing 2 guys. Pink is going to die as Delon was able to knock him down and run him over. Maybe Phoenix Force still has some fight left in them. It's going to be between Rambo against the Gods, as Rambo was able to get one down, and Rambo with 2 kills. Okay, that might be enough, but Reno will put that show to a stop. And the end of it is Box Gaming with 4 kills, and Phoenix Force, their run at FFAC has officially ended.
Yeah, I mean, Phoenix Force, they were just trying to stop the Vietnamese, right? We know exactly how Box Gaming has been doing in the competition so far, and they are trying to catch up with the top 3, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and Phoenix Force just trying to make sure that doesn't happen for them. Yes, there is a one-man casualty there. Overall, they still survive to continue fighting in the competition. Box Gaming, they will be performing in a little bit, but Heavy, they need 4 X-Men expert. Kim Chun, he doesn't really have the vantage point here, playing from the bottom side of the hill, looking up. He doesn't get that headshot flick off of that top as well, and they will have to back away from the situation. 4 X-Men expert. The lead right behind from Total Gaming will be distracting them just a little bit, and Heavy, if they can find that moment, they might just be able to bag 5 kills easy from this side.
Yeah, perhaps so. I mean, for X-Men Expert, they are very spread out, and they don't really have the best angle to work with as well. So I wonder what's the plan for X-Men Expert. Ian and the last remaining survivor for the Pillars, definitely trying to just get as much survival points as possible, as much placement points as possible for his team, and to make sure that the Pillars will be able to make it through. GPX, they're still in the picture, and with that being said, GPX alongside Box Gaming will always be a threat.
X-Men Expert still taking the fight up against Heavy. They are now in the unfortunate situation of that lower grounds, giving away the vantage point to the side of Heavy. It's a little spread out for X-Men Expert is, as you have pointed out earlier on, and that's just not going to be putting them in the best of places to be taking this fight up against a team that has the vantage point against them, right? Easy snipes can just be pulled off. C-Triple-G on the other side of the hill will not be a problem for 4X-Men Expert at the moment. In a few seconds, they most definitely will be asking some big questions. And, overall, for X-Men Expert, they haven't really been able to bag much in the competition. Losing this fight isn't going to be making that much of a difference, Husky.
And of course, against House of Blood, they're both in the same boat right now.
Yeah.
Mostly just playing for one last shot at glory, and you can see the GPX again making that late rotation. Just south side of fields, they probably would run into heavy pretty soon. Circle favoring Do Easy in particular. They're in the center. Box Gaming, the only team on the separate end of Purgatory, and we have seen this before. Teams from Vietnam generally rotate pretty late. We saw Heavy do that. We saw Box Gaming do that. And so at this point, it's not really a surprise. Although C-Triple-G, they have 4 kills early on. They did lose Momo. But let's see if they can make this work. They are now trying to keep their lead, and they are in between House of Blood and Do Easy.
Yeah, smart plays coming through. I mean, you bring in the McLaren, you make a lot of noise, you cover a lot of ground, and you have to make these decisions quick. Decision of which compound do you want to take over, jump on in there if someone is already in there, clear out house and stake up your defense, right? And they do that really, really well, because many times we've seen exactly what happens to teams where they just drive around aimlessly out there on the battlefield, their vehicle gets blown up, they are sitting ducks, and then it's just game over way too fast. C-Triple-G, not the kind of amateur team to make that mistake, at least not in this competition. Box Gaming joining them as well from the outside, pretty much the exact same meta with the vehicles, finds a building for themselves, and they will be able to set up a defense as well. This is just going to be a pure chaotic final zone in a few minutes.
And iPad's going to start it off by taking out Justin. That's a good snipe from long range. You can see that both Shiv and Angu, both of them are the only survivor of their team, and unfortunately they will now be pit in a deathmatch against each other. Angu will be tanking that blue zone as Shiv continues to run. A very ambitious nade from Angu, but it's not going to land onto Shiv. In fact, now Shiv behind a tree with a bit of cover should be able to take down Angu. We'll see how this is going to work. Angu's a couple of blue walls moving forward. Shiv, it's going to be the fight to the death, but yeah, he's just going to wait it out. This guy,
yeah, there's no way Angu's going to win that. He barely even has any medkits on him, and Shiv, he just plays that slightly smarter, right? Even had the time turner on himself, nothing much for Shiv to worry about, as I believe Shiv just died halfway through Box Gaming, took him out of the equation. Rest in peace, Shiv, we will miss you.
Okay, he at least he went out, was able to get an extra point for himself, I suppose. Darren, good snipe onto Ryuk. As Heavy now, C-Triple-G finds himself, in this predicament. And look at this, we have like what, 10 teams, and this is about to, like I said, yeah, super messy. Kim Chon was knocked down. Ban also down as well. 2 snipes in a row. And Wings, he is the sniper of GPX, and if you want to run past him, you gotta take him out. And of course, you can see that Wings getting ambushed. But unfortunately, for Heavy, Wings is just a bit too fast on the trigger, putting out those blue walls and now retreating as well, just staying behind cover. Heavy moving in, and look at Wings, he's gonna just take the tuk-tuk and get the heck out of there. As Heavy, they're gonna go onto the right side, but they will run straight into Do Easy. This is starting to get a bit too crowded for the second final phase of this round.
The tuk-tuk not really the best escape vehicle, but you make do with whatever you find out there on the battlefield, and Heavy just runs straight into it. Do Easy! And Do Easy might be able to turn things around, but for the very first time, ladies, German boys and girls, we might be able to see House of Blood be able to bag the big kills against Box Gaming, and now, God to the power of 2, he will bow down before the House of Blood. Danny needs to be picked up instantaneously. Hugo kind of playing his position! But out of nowhere, C-Triple-G, Darren, and that snipe does them in.
Yeah, I mean, the God tries to steal a bike, and he's going to be paying for his sins with that death. And that means Box Gaming are officially out of contention, well, out of this round at least. And Wing's going to good start onto space, and Ban, he's getting challenged as well by Sha. But unfortunately, Ban just playing the tight angle. Kim Cho is going to come back in. That's Do Easy, completely trapped. And they will be eliminated. Heavy with 8 kills so far under their belt, and the full squad is still alive. And look at that circle out in the open.
Bro, Bro, Husky, my man. Heavy is actually making a run for it, man. They might be able to bag this. Can they secure the Booyah for themselves? Anything is possible. Look at the House of Blood. They go in, taking those aggressive fights against C-Triple-G. And it looks like Deadpool will be able to find Hugo. He takes him out of the equation, but it leads right there behind him. Deadpool tries to get away from this equation. Total Gaming's out of it already. And the players from C-Triple-G still staying alive. 4X-Men expert right in front of them. House of Blood make their exit as well. They go out. 3 more teams left in the mix. And Heavy still alive and kicking. Can they take out GPX? It is just C-Triple-G, Heavy, as well as GPX now on the battlefield, Husky.
Yeah, and the structural integrity of whatever house that Heavy was in is insane. They survived for so long now. Deadpool, good nail onto Poo Dai. Bine's gonna go for the push. Can Deadpool really pull off this massive 1v4 clutch? And Bine's gonna go for the swing. Deadpool's still running around, but he will not survive as C-Triple-G eliminated in 3rd place, but they have done it enough as Heavy with 11 massive kills under the belt. They might still be able to make it. Maybe this is the miracle round that Heavy has been looking for. Maybe this is the miracle round that the Vietnam fans have been hoping, but it's between them and GPX. Who will make it? GPX with enough points, they just need to get a bit more. Kim Jong going for the push. They are all blocked by the blue wall. They want to make it past the blue wall, but the blue wall is making it so hard. 2 down for GPX. And Poo Dai will do it. Heavy with 14 big kills will nail that final round and get the Booyah for themselves.
Bro, we were talking about this. We said Box Gaming or Heavy, they need to bag the Booyah. They need to be able to pick up more than 10 to 12 kills in here for themselves. And that's exactly what Heavy get done. Heavy, what a team. What a showing. From struggling in those early few games into rising up to the top. Have they made it through? Like we said, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, nothing was decided after game number 4. The drama is still alive in here for Playins 2 to see exactly who are those 3 teams that will be making it through to FFHC. And it's for sure now that the 3 teams will be coming through from Group B, Husky.
Absolutely. And at the start, you asked me which teams am I keeping my eyes on. I said Heavy and Box Gaming, and of course that's gonna come full circle. If it's not Box Gaming, it might most likely be Heavy. We just have to see the final standings. Before that, we got a glimpse, right? GPX and the Pillars in the same spot, 63 points, with C-Triple-G completely leading. And I think after this round, C-Triple-G most likely will qualify. And I think the fate of the Pillars really rests in the hands of Heavy. Have they done enough to push themselves into the top 3?
I don't know, man. I mean, C-Triple-G did really good getting into that final zone. GPX was there as well. If at all Heavy kind of makes it through, I don't know if it's enough points for them to really manage to get that number 3 spot, mainly because of who got knocked out early. The Pillars got knocked out early, but they're sitting down in that number 1 spot. And for Heavy to catch up with the Pillars, yeah, it's not a 25-point situation anymore, right? And the Pillars, I believe they got taken out in that 9th spot or so. So they still did manage to get a couple of kills before getting kicked out of this whole thing. So a lot of drama still alive in here, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. If you did not have your pencil and paper out doing those calculations throughout the matches, both of us, we were absolutely busy with that crazy matchup in there where all of those teams, they were just trying to outdo each other. But consistency, I have to say, from one supreme brand or 2 supreme brands in this competition, GPX as well as C-Triple-G. Yes, the Pillars managed to climb up on top, but these 2 teams really have put on a great show out that day, Husky.
Yeah, and of course, this is the game kill leaders for our final round. We have Kim Chon from Heavy, 5 kills. Deadpool from C-Triple-G, I believe, with 4 kills. And of course, Poo Dai with 4 kills. So out of the 14 kills, 9 of them are here, in the game kill leader. So a very impressive performance. It really came down to the wire, but there's only one way to find out who is going to make it through. And unfortunately for the others, guys gotta wait a while. We still have some highlights to sift through as behind the scenes they will do the calculations. But right now, one thing is for sure, C-Triple-G most likely have made it through.
I mean, I think C Triple G will not really struggle in here. The Pillars, they will be super nervous. GPX getting that second spot, they can breathe easy, right? Like you said, Husky, whether or not enough has been done. And the point difference between, I believe, the Pillars as well as Heavy earlier on, it was about, you know what? Throw those calculations out of the window, ladies, German boys and girls. The highlight for this matchup, more important because of how heated that fight was, right? Box Gaming taking that fight very, very early on against Phoenix Force. And just when I thought Phoenix Force were going to turn things around, Box Gaming, they shut them out of the equation.
Yeah, and I think it's definitely a rough day for Phoenix Force, right? They, again, came in as the favorites, but we looked at their first game and it felt like perhaps game 1 was their best. I mean, they got 4th place in round 4, but only 4 kills. So just average performance from Phoenix Force, and they were not really able to bounce back. We look at Box Gaming; these guys bounced back, Heavy bounced back, but Phoenix Force, they kept getting stuck in a cycle. They're not really. They will win some fights and then they will lose the important ones. So a rough spot to be in, but the final moments of round 6 definitely went in favor of Heavy. They used all the glue walls to block out the members of GPX, making them tank some damage from the blue zone, and most importantly, disorienting them and catching them off guard to finally bag the win. If GPK got the booyah, maybe, just maybe, Heavy would have fell short, but it all remains to be seen.
Yeah, and you know exactly how they played that final battle itself. I believe 3 out of 4 of those players having the shotgun on them, just closing in the distance against all of their players, against the opposing team of GPX. And like you said, Husky, playing those glue walls just to disorientate GPX. And GPX kind of was doing the exact same thing, but what was the bigger decision maker within that fight was the blue zone that just started closing in a little bit faster than GPX was expecting, because all throughout managing those glue walls that was being popped out by the side of the Heavy, GPX, they weren't keeping an eye on what was behind them, right? And then Blue Zone kind of did them in towards that final moments. And very, very surprisingly, Heavy able to perform tremendously in this final round. I'm just wondering what would have been the situation if they had stepped in with this sort of caliber earlier in the competition. I guess in a way I'm glad they didn't, because we wouldn't have had this sort of an intense drama down to match number 6. It's not a clear-cut victory for any one of the teams out there.
Absolutely. And let's look at the 2 teams that made it through from Group B, the top 2, C Triple G and GPX Esports. C Triple G, again, the most consistent team. Their worst performance today was 4th place. Second, they got like what? Second, 4th, second, 1st, and 3rd. So they are basically top 3 all the way. So obviously the first team to advance to the finals, followed by GPX Esports. They did suffer a slight dip in the middle of the race between round 3 and 4, but the initial first 2 booyahs definitely gave them that leverage to qualify.
Well, absolutely, right? You come in here, you start off solid, you have a little bit of leeway to drop the ball a little bit, and GPX did that. And the saving grace here is they didn't allow that sort of a performance to carry on match after match. And Heavy, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, knocks out the Pillars from the position they sit in, 75 points. And the Taiwanese team, sorry, the Vietnamese team, they make it through, ladies, German boys and girls. They make it through FFAC as that 3rd team with the best performance.
You know how crazy this is? If Heavy didn't have that breakout round, if that last round went any different, SAF would have qualified for sure. Yeah. So it really came down to the wire. I mean, that was a 1-point difference, right? If Heavy didn't have this round, we'll be looking at the Pillars just 1 point short of SAF. So this is definitely Group B showing up to be the group of death. Sure, C Triple G only has 89 points compared to HQ, who has 101, but it doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things. They still qualify, and of course, the best 3rd team in terms of placing between the 2 groups is Heavy by a pretty sizable margin. They got 75 points compared to SAF, who only has 66. So Heavy will be the one to represent their country to qualify. Vietnam gains themselves another ally in the finals.
true to their motto, now or never, in that final round, Heavy, they went all out. And it was not easy to bring consistency into the competition because of the quality of all of the other teams. But Heavy, they did not let that deter them, right? They took the fight all the way through. They did not give up. And they performed so well in the final round. And that is a true testament to a team that just does not know the meaning of defeat. And when you have that sort of an attitude towards competitions like this, there's no way that will let you down, right? And Heavy, they scratch and claw their way through. The question now is, Husky, exactly what will happen in the grand finals of the Free Fire Asia Championship, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, because it kicks off on the 28th of November, 5 p.m. +7 GMT.
Absolutely, and of course, these are the top 5 teams. HQ Esports, CGG from Thailand. I think HQ is from Vietnam. There's C-Triple-G from Thailand, GPX Esports from Indonesia, and Heavy from Vietnam. So kind of what we said earlier on, right? This whole storyline, Vietnam, Thailand, and Indonesia, the 3 powerhouses in the Free Fire scene, and they've absolutely proved it, sending multiple representatives. And these 5 teams will join the invited squads from each winners of their respective regions. We have, Burst the Sky from Vietnam. We have Evo's Divine from Indonesia, E Arena from Thailand, LGDS from Chinese Taipei, Blacklist International from MCP, Team Elite from India, and last but not least, Hotshot Esports from Pakistan. These 12 teams will duke it out in a 7-round slugfest for the title of Asia's champion, and of course for that sweet prize pool of $80,000.
$80,000 for the first spot, I believe. $400,000 US overall available for all of these teams to eat out of, Husky. And no, might be exactly.
It's insane. Yeah.
Overall, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, who will be able to rise up to the top? Husky and I, we both will be there to see exactly who will it be. Will you be there? Book your calendars right now. For the time being, the Free Fire Asia Championship, we are going to go into resting mode. Husky and the Mustachio signing off.